Well, hello, everyone. What are you banging over there?
Oh, I literally put my phone down on the table. I'm really
Sound
sorry.
like you're breaking stuff. We got a special guest and you're breaking the equipment.
Listen, I'm not okay. Disclaimer: I've been having the crud all week, and I'm not feeling up to par. So,
well, that's not an excuse. It's game time, lady.
All right,
Just
I put
kidding.
my game
I love
face
you.
on.
Well, hello, Cannoli Connection, episode number 3. So 3 weeks into the rebranding, it's been great so far, and had a lot of special people on, but we have a very special guest today, and I'm gonna butcher how I say her name because I have that New York East Coast accent going on, so it's gonna sound way off.
What you're going to blame it on?
I do apologize in advance, but we have a very special guest, and I'm gonna bring her on. We have HorrorAmorata. I'm sorry, it's the East Coast thing.
Oh, how you say horror?
I don't know how to pronounce words.
Horror?
You say it better than Gary, so you're already
there. You go.
Up. I mean,
okay. I was practicing all day. So
funny. So does Gary, and he can basically only pronounce it when I'm standing in front of him.
Well, good. Well, good. If I could do something better than him in anything, that's fine. I like pronouncing people's names correctly. So, how are you doing today?
Wait, say it again. Did you say the H? Did you say the H?
I did. I said HorrorAmorata. I usually New Yorkers don't pronounce H's or certain words, so I said it.
But I can make it easier for everybody. You can just call me Amorata.
Okay. See that? There you go. That was my next question: is what would you like to be called for the rest of the show? And there you go.
Well, that, and I want to know how. We'll just kick it right off. How did you create your name?
It was okay. So basically, I on a different social media site was trying to decide on a name, and I love horror movies, all things horror, books, movies, anything, works of art. And so at that time, I wasn't feeling particularly creative, and I called myself Horror Queen. And at that point, calling myself Queen just doesn't work for me. It's like elevating myself to a point that I feel like I don't deserve. So I went on to thesaurus.com and looked up different, words for love. Amor is love. Amorata, HorrorAmorata. So
I like that.
I would have never known that, and I love that too. I think I
like that. It's really original and unique. I like that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely stands out. And when I was putting together the thumbnail, I really got to see like your little avatar and then how you created your name, and it was very cool artwork. Did you do that yourself, or did your husband do it?
My boyfriend did
your boyfriend. Okay.
My boyfriend did the initial artwork. My banner is actually done by Mo Zamboni.
Oh, nice.
Very, very, very cool. Yeah, I love it. It was really cute. I didn't really look into it. It's just every time I see something. Now, what is with like if you
tentacles?
have a thank you. Is it a squid head, tentacles? What is it exactly?
Well, we call it a squid. It's a Cthulhu-based thing. For my initial start was as a VTuber because I didn't feel particularly confident about being on camera. Okay. So I had a VTube avatar drawn up so it had nice little tentacles that moved when I talked, and it blinked and stuff and moved a little bit. And that was never meant to be a permanent thing. It was kind of my way of gradually getting comfortable. And but it is, kind of my mascot, you could say. It came up because I was talking to a friend and we were talking about something, and the idea of combining Cthulhu, the sleeping god from H.P. Lovecraft's lore, and a unicorn. Wow. And Cthulhu corn, and then I asked Sheep City to draw it, and he drew the initial little icon and kind of went from there. It's not Dr.
It's really cute. It kind of reminds me like of a spin-off of like your little avatar, like a strawberry shortcake, if you will, like with your own rendition on it. It's just really cute. She's cute.
Strawberry shortcake?
She's kind of
I guess so.
80s art. It does have that
that's
cute
good
roundness to it.
Yes, and the big eyes and stuff. It just reminds me of like, like I love strawberry shortcake and Rainbow Bright and all that stuff. I miss all that, and it had that cadence for me.
Yeah, innocent times, I guess, right? We're way past that, it seems now, unfortunately.
Back when the point of a TV show was to teach you to be nice to each other and do good things, as opposed to
not teach you about pronouns and talk
or
you down.
teach you how to twerk when you're 13 years old at a
Oh, that was so bad.
oh
God,
boy.
that was so bad today. This is God. It's really sad that we've gotten this. And we were saying on the midweek hump where they were talking about the Power Rangers stuff. I was like, yeah, I remember that stuff, but I really appreciated you going. Yeah, me and Cannoli were like, this might be a little past our time because we were talking about Voltron and Thundercats and stuff like that earlier because that was more my thing. But yeah, I think back to that time where, especially after
It was so innocent. It was so there was no agenda. You could just watch the show and it didn't have to have anything but just fun. Why is nothing is fun anymore? Everything has to mean something bigger than it is. And Saturday morning cartoons should not have an agenda anymore. I just don't understand. I'm so glad my daughter is almost 15 and she's out of that and she knows, like she loved iCarly. I don't know if you're familiar with that show. It was a Nickelodeon show, but it super cute. iCarly, I loved it. I watched it. It wasn't woke. So what they did was they brought it back.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, did they F it up.
Oh yeah, they changed it.
Wow.
Non-binary people, and
they had a black girl that was non-binary. No pronouns, non-binary. It went off in such an uncomfortable direction where the show really was just these kids who created a web show, and it was funny and silly and goofy and innocent.
Yep.
And then it really failed.
We've gotten to that point where I have to screen everything I watch now, or at least have that in the back of my mind going, am I really going to like this? Or is there something there that's going to piss me off watching it? Or is going to be some talking point, some political thing. And it's like, oh my God, can't we? And that goes for both sides. I don't want any politics in my content. None of it.
Do you feel like the politics have gotten into like your horror films that you like? Do you feel like you enjoy them less now?
I mean, to some degree, when it comes to horror, there's always been some amount of politics. You have to really look at the genre. It's a genre that's usually about punishing the ills of some group of people in some way.
That's true.
But it comes off because people don't think about it too hard. It always comes off as just fun, goofy killing or whatever's going on. But I mean, just look at the Friday the 13th series. You got it's all about punishing kids who are having sex and doing drugs. So
that's true.
That's really what it is.
You're right.
So you do see some of it now, but to some degree it's still enjoyable too, because I mean you get to watch the goofy LGBTQ kids get slaughtered in amusing ways because that's what killers do.
Yeah, they make it. What is it? They made that movie They Them for Peacock with Kevin Bacon. I haven't seen it yet.
Did you watch it, Horror? Did you watch it?
I haven't seen it yet.
Will you watch it?
I plan to at some point. I've got other things going on.
Yeah, you got more important things.
But I come from a kind of weird angle on some things because I'm not going to write off an entire movie just because it has some kind of messaging in it. Because in the end, no matter what you're watching, there is a message in what you're watching, or they wouldn't have written it.
That's true.
They wouldn't have done it. So there is some kind of message. Now, whether that message is political or not is an entirely different thing. A lot of it depends on how well they write the story to convey that message.
Well, that's the problem now, right? It's like the story writing has been bad.
Yeah, no,
on a lot.
They can't write themselves out of a paper bag.
100%. So they have to use that messaging to hit you over the head with it, because it's really look at Marvel. I mean, just the last few movies they've made. Like I said on your guys' stream, I watched Ant-Man. Unfortunately, I'm just sitting, and then I still get people who are like, "Oh, this was actually a good movie," and I'm like, "What were you watching?" Now, listen, you could have your opinions. I don't care what you like, but like there's a lot of stupid movies I like. We all have our guilty pleasures, right? But like to tell me and sit there and go, "Yeah, it wasn't as bad as like the Doctor Strange movie that came out last year." I'm like, "That's your bar?" It's like this is where we're setting our standards now. Is this stuff? And yeah, I don't know. I've been watching a lot of older TV shows and movies lately because I just go back and go, wow, yeah, even if it wasn't great, it's light years better than what we have now. So it's really sad. So with something like that with you, like, so if you have to go back and rewatch something that's older, what's your horror movie of choice? Like, do you have a top 5 of that genre that you like? I gotta watch these movies like on a rotation.
Nightmare on Elm Street, all of them. Friday the 13th, Hostel.
Good one.
I actually like all of them, even though I know a lot of people don't. But what can I say? I'm into torture porn.
Can I just mention, as far as torture porn, I was not a scary movie person at all, like the horror movies and stuff. Up until maybe 2 years ago, the whole month of October, my daughter and I every night watched a Saw movie.
Mm.
I liked them. You want to know why? Because the assholes got what was coming to them.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved it because they tortured these people for being pieces of crap.
Yep.
And I really enjoyed it. And I know, like Cannoli said after the first one,
I actually like the first two.
I enjoyed all of them.
Like, I don't mind the. I don't know. Like, to me, horror movie, the genre, like you said, the ones that you mentioned, Nightmare on Elm Street. I grew up with that. I love those movies. You know,
yeah, I didn't watch any of that because I do now, but I didn't grow up like that. I didn't start watching horror movies till probably the last.
Where I draw a line sometimes is the paranormal stuff because that shit scares me, and I don't know what. Not really like.
Speaking of which, you should read Horror's book. It's going to be great.
No, I'm not saying I won't watch it. What scares me is because I do. I'm not to say I'm super religious and all that, but I do believe in some of that stuff, so it just freaks me out. But it's not a bad thing because that's the whole point, right? So when I went to see Paranormal Activity, it scared the shit out of me because I was like, I know it's not real. Technically, it's a movie, but it's just the idea of like a demon coming into my bed and dragging me out of the bedroom. Oh, yeah. I'm a big guy. That scares me.
I mean, one of them is actually going to scare me. It's going to be the paranormal type, just because you know, of the things, they're the ones that. Things do happen that you can't always explain, and sometimes, you know, you start to wonder, was that a little thing? And then after you watch a movie that expands on it, but it's also part of human psychology. So I mean, it's really.
I'm fascinated with Paranormal Activity, except I've never seen those movies just because Cannoli doesn't get scared easily, and if he got really scared, I probably would be. But I enjoy all of like. I've watched all the Ghost Adventures. I've watched all the things paranormal. Yeah. Actually, I'm trying to get Cannoli when we go to Vegas in April for the meetup. Zach Baggins has his haunted mansion in there. Yeah. Me too. I want to go so bad.
Yeah, me and Sheep, we're gonna be there the 24th. So I'm basically gonna sit down and tell him. So the 25th, we're going here and here and here.
April? Wait for me. I want to
go. No.
How are you going to be there?
Well, yeah.
Oh, we're only going to be there till that Friday. We're going to be there Monday to Friday, and then
we're only going to be there Wednesday to Friday. So if you can somehow finagle your plans and go Thursday, I'll go Thursday with you. Let me know. I mean,
don't have her change her plans for you. What is this?
I know.
But you have my plans in stone, so it's easy to change. Are you kidding me?
If it's something you want to do, because I wanted to go with somebody who is interested and understands like I do, and Cannoli would go for me.
I would go. I'm interested, but I'm like, oh no, I want to go to the mob museum because that's like, my family inherited. But I would go to.
Well, I'm so glad to know you're going because either way, I can't wait to meet you in person. Yeah, that's going to be really nice. But paranormal stuff intrigues me a lot. It doesn't scare me when I watch things that are like Ghost Adventure stuff like that. But I think if it was in a horror movie type setting, the way that those movies were, I think it would scare the crap out of me.
I don't know. I'm probably one of the few people that found Paranormal Activity boring.
Okay. And what did you find boring? Just because maybe I'll go into it thinking that way.
See that.
It's a lot of sitting and waiting for things to happen, and then it's parts of it just get drawn out, and in the end, Micah gets what he deserves.
Yes,
he really.
I will give you that. Yes, I will give you that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
that's a good point.
So for me, I don't mind watching the Paranormal Activity movies, but they're literally ones I turn on and then I walk away and do something while they're on.
Okay. Maybe I'll try it. Maybe I'll just see if it's something I can handle. Because if you think like that, I might feel the same way because I do watch like Ghost Adventures and stuff and things will happen. And I'm like, that was it.
Yeah, that was
exactly. I'm waiting for more. And so I don't know. I love all that stuff, and I've been really.
So, what do you think about like movies like The Exorcist and stuff like that? Because that's like those are like It's a legendary horror. That movie scared the hell out of me as a kid. Now when you rewatch some of these, you're like, oh, all right, but they're still good movies, I guess. But
I mean, they're good, but the thing with horror is you're never as scared the second time as you are the first.
Right.
So, I mean, the first time you watch it, like, oh my god, and then you come back and watch it. Do
you
know
wanna
what's gonna
hear-
happen, you're prepared.
You want to hear a funny
Yeah.
story about
No.
not getting like the first time of something is always extremely exciting, and you yeah, okay. Cannoli knows what I'm going to say.
Oh,
Did you
God.
ever see The Sixth Sense horror?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Imagine not seeing it and your father-in-law spoiling it for you.
I'll be honest, the entire
You know? Did you know?
I was in was that my freshman year? Yeah.
What the hell, R2?
That's a funny
There's a reason I'm soft spoken. It's so that people don't suspect the torture dungeon. Are you kidding me?
That's smart thinking. Yeah.
She's a
If you're
very smart
gonna
lady, I
trap
feel.
people and torture them,
Do
you
it.
gotta-
Yeah, that's smart. I like that.
I don't want to.
I would follow you anywhere with that voice. I can't wait.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
gonna
you would
get into it
definitely-
later,
yeah.
but I can't wait for you to read me stories. We're going to talk about that in a
Yeah.
little bit too.
I gotta sit down and do that.
Yes, you do. I need it.
But but where was I?
Sixth Sense, getting it
Oh,
ruined.
the Sixth Sense. You were talking about the Sixth.
Yeah, trying to remember if that was my freshman year of high school or was it my junior. I think it was my junior year of high school that
Hmm.
that came out. And
Yeah.
so basically my entire high school class spoiled it for me. There was no getting away from that.
So yeah, it's one of those
I was
movies.
so bummed. I was
that,
so bummed because we'll never get that back. But
I mean, the
anyway.
movie is the whole movie is the ending, unfortunately. So I had seen it, and then she was at my house. You know, I was obviously a long time ago, and so my dad's just sitting there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that part." Spoiler alert: if you haven't seen it, it's only 30 years old. Oh yeah, he dies. I can't believe he died at the end. And she just
No, he was
turns
dead
and-
the whole time.
dead the
Yeah,
whole
well,
time.
yeah. Then she looks at me and she goes, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "Oh God!" I put my hand down at the breakfast table. I'm like,
My
"No."
father-in-law I will never let him live that.
and,
down.
and one because we rewatched the movie after that, like the
Mhm.
couple of days after, and it's just the effect's gone. You know what's happening, so that element of surprise is gone. It just ruins everything, obviously. So
I guess I feel kind of weird because I always kind of figured he was dead
sure,
from the
Yeah.
what are those things called? The trailers.
yeah,
But
okay.
smart.
I do
yeah.
like watching it again just to look for the clues they leave.
Yes.
About the fact that he's dead.
It's actually not a bad
Like
movie. It's
door
well
handle-
done.
Didn't you go
Oh, the
back
door
to
handles,
notice
the color
door
red.
handle?
Yeah,
Yeah.
all
Door
the color
handles,
red.
the fact
yeah,
that nobody else, when he's interacting with the kid, nobody else seems to interact with him.
right.
The way his wife signs the check and says something without ever
Mhm.
looking at him
Yeah,
Okay.
she's
and
looking
gets up
down
and
the whole
walks
time.
away. There's a lot
Mhm.
of it in that.
Yeah, and there's even a couple of little things I didn't even notice just till actually recently, where I think there was the scene where she's kind of getting closer to this other guy, this younger guy or whatever, and then he breaks the window.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's walking away, and I didn't notice this, but he's mad at her, and he's holding the side where he was shot while he's walking away, like you would when you're wounded. He's walking slowly and limping. Like I was like, wow, I never caught that before because I'm not a smart person. So I'm like, oh, okay. So and then the director, M. Night Shyamalan, was like, yeah, we did that on purpose as a clue. I was like, oh, well, I'm obviously not bright enough to pick that up, or I was just in the moment at the time. I don't know, but
So I want to switch gears real quick, and I want to talk about how horror got started on the YouTube, gaming. What made you into such a big gamer? Because I wish I could game, but I get really frustrated and I just give up. So tell me a little bit about.
I came
Your
out of
whole-
the womb that way.
Good
nice.
Good girl.
Literally, my mom was a gamer.
Was she really?
Yeah. My mother played Dungeons and Dragons. She
Oh,
played
wow, nice.
Nintendo. She doesn't
Nice.
do it so much now that she's older, but
Sure.
Mhm.
so I basically I was not one of those girls who was raised in a household where girls don't play video games because my mother played video games.
Played
my
video
mother
games.
learned to
That's
code.
awesome.
My mother did these things that other girls didn't, and so when people come to me and say, "Well, girls aren't supposed to do that," I'm like, "What?
Says who? Says who? Yeah,
Who's
exactly.
stopping me?
Right.
Where's
No.
the law?" So
I played Mario when I was a kid. I mean, why not? It was fun.
it was fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I've always been a gamer, and because of the fact that my family, my dad was a gamer, my little brother is a gamer. Basically, we were a gaming family, and we did it all.
That's cool.
So that's basically why I'm a gamer, why I'm a streamer.
Mhm.
Actually, you can blame a couple people.
Uh-oh.
Eric July.
Mm.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever named him or seen him, but ANCAP Gamer and Sheepsidian.
Yep.
Eric's big on getting involved in the culture if you want to see it change. And, I figured I'm not doing anything anyway. So I play video games. Why not stream and play video games?
Why not? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna do the one thing anyway, so I can do two things at once. Why not?
No, yeah. You're very good at it too, because you got the perfect voice to talk through a game or to talk to people in the chat. Because when I watch, it's like it's very relaxing to listen, to listen to you while you game. So I've done it, and it's like, wow, this is actually. And even if I don't know what the hell the game is, I'll just like, oh, and then it actually gets me interested in the game, and I'll do a little research on the game. So
you also recently said screw you Twitch and went to Rumble. What happened on Twitch that made you? I heard Twitch was getting kind of crappy anyway, but what made you finally move over to Rumble?
Well, Twitch has always had an issue involving discoverability. So it's hard for people to find your channel on Twitch.
Okay.
And I just got on the night before I made that announcement to set up my stream, and I'm looking at my screen, and I go to the homepage, and the homepage is a bar where it says like for you or we'll think you like or something like that. I don't remember exactly how it's worded. And the first box is a half-naked woman ASMR streamer. The next box is a half-naked woman ASMR streamer. And the next box is Ruined Leon, and I'm like, okay, I like him. And then the next box is a girl on her knees, half naked, as an ASMR streamer.
I think you posted a picture or something when you retweeted that. The picture of one of them,
yeah. Well, it was actually, if you clicked on the picture, it was the entire bar.
Oh,
and so it was like, it wasn't just her. There was 3 or 4 of them right there. And I'm like, for all the time I've been on Twitch, I'm pretty sure I've never clicked on an ASMR stream. So not only do they not care about me as a creator and try to help me grow, but they also don't care about what the people watching want to watch. They don't pay any attention to what you actually do. They just want to push you towards what gets them the most money.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
And at that point, I'm like, if you don't care about either side of the equation, I'm done.
Were you making money on Twitch, if you don't mind me asking?
I made about enough to pay my my internet bill. Is where I was.
Hey, that's something. Yeah.
It was covering my internet bill.
Okay. And now will you be able to do that over on Rumble?
If people give me money.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Rumble, you have to have donations or something.
Well, your Twitch,
or if people gives my locals money. I mean, because that's why part of why I have.
I looked at that. So you actually turned me on to locals because you asked me very nicely to go over and read this story.
Very nicely.
No, I didn't know about it until I was watching the midweek hump, and you were talking about locals, and then Sheep City was talking about locals, and I was like, "What is this locals?" So I downloaded the app and I went and found you, and not that I didn't want to at the time, but I went to leave you a comment, and then it said you have to pay for a comment. I'm still getting used to the whole.
Locals is interesting. I like locals a lot. I think it has a ton of potential. By the way, all of her information is in the description. All of them.
The important thing to remember is any creator that you support gets most of the money through locals.
Okay.
That's the big difference. Yeah.
Rumble versus YouTube, it's a 70-30 split. Rumble and locals both do better. God damn it, can't stop it.
No, it's true. Because
don't worry about the cat. I deal with Vex, and she has cats all over the place all the time during the stream.
Last Monday, they did a John Wick stream, and about
the cat
20
knocked
minutes
her camera
of it was
down.
just her cat. So we love animals.
We just did commentary on her cat stepping on her keyboard. It was hilarious.
Listen, I have a tattoo right here of my dog's paw with a sunflower. So I'm a vegetarian, like I'm hardcore animals. So you can have any animals on our stream.
Yeah,
he just managed to make it so I couldn't hear you guys for a second.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
Nobody wants to hear me talk anyway.
But you know what I was going to say, as far as Rumble, we did our first stream, and it was ironic that you had posted your thing about switching the day after we did our first Rumble stream on Saturday night. And we did it so we could just have an open forum like you guys do on your midweek hump. And sorry, ravioli comfort.
Yeah, he comes up with these nicknames for me. I love it. John,
that's a good one.
That's the writer.
But I noticed we did better on Rumble than we do on YouTube. And I don't know if it's because you can speak more freely. I don't know. I don't know what
it was. I was the first. I think we talked about this Wednesday. It was so freeing, but the first 15 minutes, we all just kind of kept hitting that censor button on each, like what we were going to say, certain words. And I was like, I don't think we have to do this. We're on Rumble, right? And everybody's like, yeah. and it was so freeing to be able to speak your mind freely. Exactly. See, even the cat knows.
Oh no, there's something. Well, I'll have to check that out later.
Something. Does he have something in his paw?
No, there's a big lump on the bottom of his tail.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
poor cat.
He's fine. He's obviously alive, so
Yeah,
definitely
obviously.
explains why he's
Well,
so cuddly,
sometimes
though.
they get like my dog used to have little things, and it would just be like how do you say that word? Calcifications.
Calcification, yeah.
Calcifications.
Yeah. So yeah. So I think you'll probably do
Agreed.
better over on Rumble. I've heard Twitch has just been kind of like,
Oh.
you know, didn't it used to be just a gaming site? And then,
Jesus, Steven. Maybe that's I don't know.
but wasn't
Rumble
Twitch
is-
just a gaming site, and then certain
It is,
people,
right?
like the ASMR people, started infiltrating?
I mean, Twitch started as a gaming site, yeah,
Okay.
where people did mostly gaming, but you know, of course, you created a just chatting, you know, because not people aren't always going to want to sit there and game. Sometimes you
okay.
just want to sit down, turn on your camera, and hang out with your community.
Yeah.
And because
Oh.
of that, you have some very enterprising young women who know that men will give them money to
Mhm.
be there, and so they take full advantage of that. I don't necessarily blame them for it,
But don't you feel like that's what OnlyFans was created for? Maybe they should go
Well,
there
the,
instead of
the,
a
the
gaming
amusing
site.
thing about OnlyFans that I don't know how many people realize, OnlyFans was actually created not as a porn site, but as you know what Cameo is?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
It was supposed to
Oh,
be
yeah.
more like Cameo, except
Oh.
you know, and then but because they had no explicit content rules,
Mhm.
Okay.
it was overran by porn because let's
Mm.
face it, sex sells.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
That's
I know. I
that's
was thinking
basically
about
what happened.
showing my feet over there. No. Just kidding.
Twitch decided to run off its biggest earning and most well-known streamers to other platforms, and now they reap what they sow. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not doing well over there. As far
Well,
as
they
I
keep making really dumb decisions. It's like,
yeah,
and honestly, when you look at Twitch and how they try to monetize themselves, if you
Mhm.
tune into a streamer, you don't want to watch a minute of ads before you get to see the streamer.
Oh God,
Oh.
it happens
And
all the
unless
time.
you're willing to show 3 minutes of ads in an hour, that's what happens. And nobody I know wants to watch 3 minutes of 3 minute ads.
Because
Mhm.
then you miss
I-
the show because the show is still running.
Yeah,
I noticed
because-
that when Cannoli was on, what were you on when you were on Lambency or something? It was
Which- it was about well, even just watch. Yeah, people watch like when I go to watch a streamer do a gaming thing. If I really want to watch the streamer, I'll stay on and I'll
Mhm.
stick with it. But you're right. As soon as you click in, it takes like a minute where, and it's like I'm not sticking around for
And
this.
then in
If
the
I-
middle when they're talking, it cuts down. And I go,
Yeah.
what the? I had
Yeah.
never. What was the stream that
It's-
you were? What did
it
he
was
do?
it was Lambency show with him. That's when Vex was on that show.
No,
We-
I know,
we-
but what was the platform?
it was Twitch.
It was Twitch.
It was
Okay.
Twitch, but yeah, and it did that to her. So she's texting me going, "Oh, did you know there's ads?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's right, it's Twitch."
I didn't know there were ads until you were
So
on there.
I'm answering a question, and it just cuts for a minute and
Yeah.
a half, actually. Sometimes, and
Yeah.
I'm like, "What? Why do this during the middle of a stream?"
because then you
I
miss the
mean,
content. And
I know you need ad revenue, but like, really, you're pulling people out of the stream, and nobody,
Yeah,
and
it
people
was
are going to
weird.
leave. So, I
Well,
don't
and they
know.
used to have it set so that their partnered
Mm,
people got a 70-30 split, but they cut it down so that it's 50-50 across the board.
oh,
And in order
ouch.
to make more money, they want you to play more ads. Well, I
Mm.
mean, who really wants to play more ads? I've tried once, like literally one stream to play ads in the middle of my stream.
Mhm.
I had one person say, I have 10 ads I have to watch. And I'm like, I can't do that to people. What are you talking about?
Wow.
I can't
Yeah.
sit through that.
Wow.
How can I expect somebody else to?
Right. No, that's true. That's true. That's ridiculous. So
10
when you
ads.
stream on both now, because I was also doing some research for the show, and I know, and you have a show on Rumble called HorrorAmorata.
Mhm.
So I was watching a little bit of that on Rumble. Which do you prefer streaming on? Do you like one or the other? And tell us a little bit about that show too, for people who might want to check it out.
Well, it's the HorrorAmorata Animal Show. We literally just sit down
Oh.
and talk about animals. We talk about our pets. We talk about animal ownership. We talk about wild animals, extinct animals, idiots. So
A lot of those. So you
lot
got
of
a
those.
lot to talk about.
Like not last week, but the week before, we went through it. Candace Owens did a thing about how she felt about pit bulls, and we
What did
went
she
through
say, if you don't mind me asking?
I remember
her answer was very carefully couched in a way where you could say it was kind of vague, but in short, she doesn't like them.
Why not? Because of the way that their
Yes, because
reputation.
she
They're
believes that
aggressive
they are
and-
dangerous animals all the way around the board. Of course, when you listen to what she says, in some ways she acknowledges that any dog can be dangerous if you don't
Mhm.
train it
Yeah.
correctly and treat it correctly.
Okay.
But she still focuses on the fact that it's a pit bull. During the thing, she gave some numbers and we did the math. It's something like 243 or something like that. People are killed by pit bulls every year out of 6 million pit bulls in the country.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
You know what? Let me tell you something, and I don't know how you feel about pit bulls, but I feel like pit bulls have always gotten a bad rap. I feel like it's the way that you raise the animal, and yes, they do have certain things instinctively inside of them, and if you poke them
Got to
enough,
train them.
they will come out. And Cannoli can attest to this. His boss has a pit bull who is the sweetest boy
Biggest
ever.
baby. My dog is
My-
more aggressive than his pit bull.
Yes, and
I mean, it's
she's
amazing.
33 pounds. My dad had pit bulls. My brother had pit bulls, and they were the sweetest babies. And I will get into a fist fight with somebody who has anything bad to say about, oh, it's the breed, it's the breed.
Mhm.
I am a
Mrs.
huge
Cannoli's thrown hands.
no, I am a vegetarian because I can't even eat an animal. I'm one of
Oh.
those crazy people. Now, granted,
Wow.
I don't push it on anybody else. I make cannoli meat. My daughter loves a good hamburger. It's my own personal thing. But I have a hamster tattoo. I'm not nuts. You know, I love animals so much. And I love my little nuggie. It's a whole nother story. But I really feel sad when pit bulls get a bad rap because they're beautiful
they're good
babies.
dogs.
See?
And it's not even the first time it's happened.
Exactly.
No, but you know what though, and Vex and I were talking, I don't know if it was on the female perspective or if we were talking in the chat, but we were talking about how we're not really fond of Candace Owens and her takes anymore. I used to really, really like what she had to say, but then stuff like the pit bull stuff, it's like
It's not just that's a Daily Wire in general. It's just kind of
no, I know, but that type of thing bothers me. So 263 out of 6 million, you're going to say that's a problem?
Like 246 or something. And then when you look at it, the problem is statistically, you are more likely to be bitten by a Jack Russell Terrier or a Chihuahua than you are a pit bull. Now, granted, the bite force of a Chihuahua is not going to kill you, but you get enough of them, it might. And they still can kill a child or a baby because I have a little pack of small dogs. You set them free on somebody, they are going to chew up their legs. And it doesn't matter.
That's the defense mechanism to their owner. And anybody who gets here's the thing. So Brooklyn, I was telling you backstage, we were talking before, Brooklyn was my really big dog. And I was walking through the neighborhood one time and this little kid who was being really stupid kind of came up and put her hand in Brooklyn's face. And Brooklyn snapped at her, didn't bite the kid. But here's the thing. It would have been my freaking fault and my dog's fault, but yet that stupid kid provoked my dog. And I hate that dogs always get the short end of the stick. If they go after a kid, like for instance, my daughter's almost 15 and she antagonizes Zelda, who's only 33 pounds, because she likes to aggravate her. And I go, let me tell you something. She bites your face. I'm not putting her down. I'm putting you down, kid. Because you're asking for it. Like these kids, there was this one show. I don't know if you're familiar. I didn't really watch it.
He's downstairs right now eating dinners.
I did
like
hear
a minute
him
ago.
do that.
Yeah.
But there was a show, Teen Mom, and there was this one girl, Janelle Evans. I don't know if you heard the story where the dog, the family dog, went after the kid, bit the kid's face, and they put the dog down. I had more questions. No dog just attacks a kid who's sitting there.
No, they don't. And that's something most people fail to recognize. If a dog attacks somebody, there is a reason. There is, it's
absolutely
something
is.
somebody did. They don't just out. Well, I take that back. There are cases where out of
He
the blue
just
they
poked his
can.
head in. He just poked his head in and waved.
Oh.
You missed
Yeah.
him. You
They
missed
must be
him.
watching.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, there are, if you have a really poorly bred dog, a really inbred, mentally damaged dog, there is a possibility in that. That's part of
Yeah,
why
of
you had a
course.
lot of cases in German Shepherds, especially in Saint Bernards, shortly after Beethoven's fifth, or that Beethoven movie. I don't remember the name of it now. I watched
Yeah, I
it
think
50
you're right.
times as a kid, and I can't remember the name of
I
it.
know. I think you got it. Something like that.
But no, it's just Beethoven. Now that I think about it, it was
That's
just
it. Yeah,
Beethoven.
you're right. Mhm.
And but I mean, after that, the desirability of that breed exploded because people don't
Mhm.
understand that when you get that kind of dog, you have to work with it.
Mhm.
All dogs have some kind of drive, some kind of need that you have to keep under control to keep them happy. And a lot of
Yep.
people don't realize that. I mean, it's part of like the thing
It's
with
work.
pit bulls. They
Mhm.
have to be in a situation where the person is in control. If you
Mhm.
give an unstable dog to an unstable person, you create an unstable situation.
Well, and
Yeah.
it's like that of anything.
Yeah.
Any situation, of course.
Yeah, you're right. And that's when my boss started. From day one, he knew that he had a train. The dog is the most polite dog.
Mhm.
And yeah, when he has a lot of people around, there's a party or something, that dog just sits and just relaxes. And
Yep.
it's amazing to watch. But even look Abomination AJ, because he's a dog he
Yes, he
trains
is.
dogs too. And it's like he got mad at Candace Owens for saying that. I remember that. And he talked about it. And it's like it's just an ignorant statement.
You want to know something else? Do you know the I heard this the other day. Do you know, and I don't know the breed of the dog, and I think it might be similar to the breed of the dog in John Wick 3, but the breed of the dog in the Channing Tatum movie where he was
German Shepherd?
it's I don't know if it's that M word that you guys were talking about on your movie.
Oh, the one.
Anyway, the dog that Channing Tatum had in his recent movie where it was just him and a dog throughout the whole movie. I think it came out like a year ago. Well, apparently everybody wanted to have that dog.
Wasn't the movie called Dog?
Maybe. And just so you know, that
Malinois Shepherds. Yeah,
but those dogs need certain type of care. You can't just have a dog because it's popular. Certain dogs need extreme exercise. Certain dogs need to hike. Certain dogs need nothing. And people just want to do what's trendy instead of in researching the dog and is it going to fit with their family. And that's what we did when we got both of our dogs. The Brooklyn we didn't know was going to be so big.
Yeah, we learned a lot.
And I felt bad because we didn't have the yard for her. It was Matt.
Okay. Yeah, Matt don't bother watching Candace Owens. You'll just get pissed.
Candace Owens is worse, I think.
So anyway, people don't investigate or research whether the dog is going to be the right fit for your family and can you give the dog what it needs. And that also can alter the dog if you're not giving it what it needs because each dog has something different. You have hiking dogs, you have hunting dogs, you have, dogs that are lazy like mine just sleeping over here. She just wants to be home all the time. So I think that's a service to the dogs too, where, people get pit bulls and I don't know.
It covers pets across the board. When Finding Nemo came out, the type of fish Dory is, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it.
Dory. But a lot of people were trying to buy that fish.
Yeah.
And they were killing them left and right because they had no idea how to care for it. And they are very temperamental fish. I mean, fish in general can be very temperamental, but they take a lot of effort and people are dumb.
People like to be trendy and it really, and there's, and I don't know how you feel about it, but I just feel like breeding is like, stop breeding. There's so many dogs. My friend that I work with runs a rescue and it's funny because R2 will love this. She runs a Chihuahua rescue and I'm not particularly fond of Chihuahuas either. However, every person needs a dog. And I feel like there's just so many dogs out there that need homes.
Ironically, I am technically a dog breeder.
Nice.
And I will tell you my reasoning for it.
Please. I love to hear this every side of us. Yeah, go.
I agree that in many cases, there probably doesn't need to, you shouldn't overbreed dogs.
Okay.
However, a dog from a shelter, almost always a great dog. You can't go wrong getting a dog from a shelter unless you need something very specific. And
That's
that's
true.
why there's dog breeds to begin with.
That's true. That makes sense.
So if you need a dog you know is going to be hypoallergenic in a certain size, then you need a certain breed. If you know you need a retriever, you need a retriever.
Yeah, that's fair
If
enough.
you know you
Sure.
need a German Shepherd, you need a German Shepherd. And responsible, careful breeding gets you that. Now, where you have a problem is when you have an uneducated consumer and a greedy asshole.
That's it. That's where I don't like it. I like it when it's done for the right reasons. And there was a reason it started. And I respect that. But you're right. There's people out there that just do it for the money. And all they do with their dog is they just turn over litter after litter. And it's just terrible. But if it's done right, you're right. I get that.
I'm currently worried because my girl just came out of heat. She's not supposed to be having a litter this time.
Okay.
But my boy got her. He got her once, so there's a 40% chance that I could be having a litter of puppies, and she just had a litter. I don't want her to have another litter right now. There really isn't doggy abortions, so I may be stuck with having another litter, and I have to hope that it doesn't weigh too much on her body.
See, and you actually care, and you're doing it for the reasons of making sure it's done in a respectful, healthy way. When, like I said, other people just cage these dogs and just impregnate them, and then they want to see how much they can get. Those people, I think, are terrible.
Those people are funded by the uneducated consumers.
Exactly,
and
100%.
That's where you run into a problem. And and it's actually another reason why I kind of got into it. Was so that I can speak with some amount of authority. When people start asking questions about how do I buy a dog, a purebred dog. Well, for one, you don't go to someone just breeding them in their backyard who has no papers, who can't tell you anything about their animals, who won't let you come to the site and see where their dogs are kept, who won't do research on you. There's so much going on in there that you have to consider. And you can't possibly, everybody's going to make mistakes on it. But the more thoughtfully people can go through things, the more you can get rid of those things. And you can't just pass a law and say, no, you can't do that, because if that worked, we'd have stopped murdering people by now. So
well, that's not going to change anytime soon.
But I have a very serious question. How do you give up those puppy babies? I can't foster a dog. And I could never do a litter because I could not. How do you do that? Tell me.
I get them during the fun part. I get them when they're teeny tiny, absolutely adorable, and mommy takes care of 90% of the work. Then I give them to someone else before they start teething, and I have to really concentrate on housebreaking. So they get to take care of all the bullshit, and I get them when they're fun and cute.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
it's
you
a
get
lot
the
of work, though, isn't it, to do puppies and stuff?
It can be a lot. Well, if you're going to take care of your puppies right, it is, because you know, the last batch, I ended up keeping one of them. He's going to be way oversized. He's so sweet. He's such a good dog. But so we're talking, 6 a.m, they start yapping because they want to get out of their pen, because they want to go to the bathroom, and they don't like to go to the bathroom where they sleep. So and I'm someone who stays up till 3 a.m, so I've been asleep for about an hour because it takes me an hour and a half to get to sleep.
Oh boy.
Yeah. That's why I take drugs to sleep. My brain doesn't stop.
He means herbal drugs, not real drugs. Cannoli.
I'm not. I'm not taking acid before I go to bed to calm down.
I wouldn't take acid for that anyway.
No, exactly.
I use a little cannabis myself sometimes. So
there you go. Yeah, that works.
That one helps me sleep. But,
so let me ask you, when you do, you vet all the people that adopt your puppies out, and you know where they all go, and you do a whole background check. And do you go to their houses to make sure that they're situated?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I have 2. I have one that I sold to. I have 2 that I sold in houses, to homes that live like 4 hours from me.
That's
drive, and I didn't check them out, but I did talk on the phone with a number of times. I checked their vet recommendations. We had long conversations about how they felt about their pet, how they cared for previous pets, and they actually the one just sent me the litter before this litter, they just sent me their year-old pictures.
Oh,
It was really cute.
what breed are your dogs?
They're Beaver Terriers.
Oh, okay.
Biewer.
Interesting. I don't know if I'm familiar with that breed. Okay,
Probably
so
not. They're a newer breed. They're actually technically the first breed to be determined through DNA testing as opposed to through pedigree tracking. So they DNA test as an entirely separate breed. They're the first one to have that distinction.
you know
They
what? I
just became an AKC recognized toy breed in 2021.
I was just going to ask you that if it's like, so when you say that, does that mean that could be a show dog?
Yes.
Okay.
They actually do appear in shows. They're adorable. They're like a Yorkie, but well, for one, they're not colored like a Yorkie.
Mhm.
They're much more laid back and more friendly and extremely intelligent. Scary intelligent for a small dog.
Okay. Yeah. No, that
too.
you know, it's
I wouldn't work with that.
Yeah, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't jive with her at all. No.
You know, I have to say that I do understand getting a dog from somebody like you, because my first experience with getting Brooklyn is I took it off of a recommendation from somebody else who got their dog, who, had I known how her dog was going to end up, I probably wouldn't have gone this route, but it was our very first dog and I didn't even know where to go, what to look into. So we went and got Brooklyn, and it was in a questionable area in a lady's house in her backyard. And she had this questionable area set up, and it was $300. And she gave me a Ziploc. It was terrible. It was a Ziploc bag of food. Here's your dog. See you later.
I've actually done a Ziploc bag of food before.
But the different
but I would trust you coming to buy a dog, get a dog.
No,
for you.
the difference is that, so we got her on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that, puppies can only hold their bladders for so long. So I went home at lunch from work. We had a very safe place for her. I came home from work on lunch hour, and Brooklyn, I didn't realize she was 6 weeks old, which is too soon. Yeah, I know.
Too young,
it was the whole thing. She was little. She's foaming at the mouth, and there is shit sprayed all over where she was in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm panicking, and I called my friend at work who actually bred dogs. And so I was like, what am I supposed to do? She goes, take her to the vet right away. I don't know what's going on. So I ended up getting her into a vet, and my head was spinning because I was so uneducated with dogs. I had no idea. So they're throwing around words like parvo, distemper, all these other things. And it ended up being that, one, she was young, and two, the food was rotten, expired. So we, did the chicken and rice, and we got her back to health.
Yeah,
Needless to say, we ended up having to do all the vaccinations, all the we fixed her. We did all that. Needless to say, that poor puppy had health issues until the day she died. She had UTIs. Like, I used to have to go out and catch her urine and have it ran through. I work for an OBGYN, so my lab girl would test her urine for me. So I could
take advantage of it.
Yeah.
But long story short, she had major health issues for her entire life. We had to do prescription
hip issues
at one point, everything. On the flip side, we do Zelda. We go through a rescue that was vetted. She had her shots. She was fixed. The whole thing, I went through it, and I did it differently. And she's the healthiest dog. However, she is the most skittish dog, and she's even scared when the wind blows. But she's healthy. Brooklyn had to go to the vet. Like, it was awful.
It was a lot. I felt bad. We did learn a lot from that dog, though. I will say that
we did.
Knowing what we know now. I mean, the dog, Brooklyn decided to eat a couch once, she
was a puppy, and
but that's what puppies do, which I didn't care.
Puppies do that. You can't blame anything.
No. I actually didn't mind it because I hated
we needed a new couch anyway.
No, we did need a new one. But yeah, she did the typical puppies to chew through the drywall. Yeah. And this dog didn't do any of that, but I learned a lot.
It was just different experiences.
I actually feel bad about now knowing what we know with Zelda and doing everything. I don't want to say correct, but at least better. Poor Brooklyn. But we learned a lot. It was like having a kid.
But we babied the shit out of Brooklyn. She was like,
yeah, she was a big
let
baby.
me just tell you, I've had a really rough upbringing, and other than Cannoli and his family,
Didn't get better when you married me.
No, I learned what unconditional love was. That dog was my everything. Like when she passed away, damn, I still can't get. It'll be 5 years this 5 years this Brooklyn was the coolest. My friends, they loved her. We put her down 5 years ago in April, and I still she did something to me. She left. Animals are amazing.
Animals are amazing.
She got my parents. My mom and dad were always a little skittish of dogs. After Brooklyn came, now it's like night and day. They go up to dogs. They don't even care. They're not afraid anymore. Nice. All animals. They just kind of open themselves up to just this whole world that they didn't know that they would be a part of. And
but animals are such
people who haven't had pets. It weirds me out every time.
You know what's funny? I didn't have one growing up, and so as soon as I got out of the house, I was like, I gotta have a dog. Then once we got married and moved out, I was like, we're getting a dog. And then my daughter, she's 4. She's gonna be 15 soon. It's like she's had 2 dogs she's grown up with, and I think it's a great thing for her. It's responsibility, all that stuff, but just to have a companion.
You don't understand the love for an animal. Like before I had Brooklyn, I never understood. Cannoli had a distant cousin in New York who was obsessed with her dog and did, paid all this money to help her dog medically, and the dog died, and she just could not get over it. She took days off from work, and my father-in-law was like, I don't understand. It's just a dog. And I was like,
he understands.
But let me tell you something. When we put Brooklyn down and my father-in-law was in the room with us, that man sobbed more for my dog than he did for his own dad when he passed away. Like it.
Yeah. And he said it. He said it.
You
he
don't
didn't
realize it until you experience it yourself. And I've changed so much after I had.
It really does soften you.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Have
you always had pets growing up, or did you just when you
I've
got
had pets my whole life? I mean, my parents had a cat when I was born. That one they had to rehome because we ended up moving to Germany. But we had dogs there, and then we had dogs and cats when we moved back. And I've basically had some kind of pet my entire life.
Okay. So you would feel empty without having a pet around.
It feels weird not to have my pets.
Take care of something, yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's Cannoli when we had Brooklyn, he was like, one dog, we're done. Well,
I didn't want to go through at the end. It was so painful.
Yeah. Well, no, but you decided to get Zelda before we put Brooklyn down, and he started coming around because he knew Brooklyn.
I was like, I don't want another dog. I don't want to go through that again. The pain, they don't live long. And then I started being selfish because I was hurt over Brooklyn being gone. So I was like, I started playing.
Honey, we got Zelda before we.
No, I know, Brooklyn. But what I'm saying is, I was like, I don't want to do this because what if we want to travel? What if we want to? Yeah, what if we want to do all these things? But the truth was, I just didn't want to get attached to another animal. But I was saying the opposite. And then eventually, I was like, she showed me the picture, and I was like, oh. God,
and she looked like Zelda looked like Brooklyn when she was.
And then so we got her finally, and like, what are we gonna name her? And then I was playing one of my favorite games, Link to the Past, Zelda. I was like, this is perfect. It's a perfect name for a dog. So we got the collar, the Zelda game collar for her.
Nice.
And
yep.
Yeah.
And she's a little princess. Like Brooklyn was a queen. This one's a dainty little princess. So
Brooklyn wanted affection on her terms. Zelda's the opposite. Zelda's like.
Yeah, but poor Zelda, I feel so bad for her because she can't experience the world like I want her to. She's small enough to take her places, but she's scared of everything, and it breaks my heart. And she just doesn't. But you know what? She's sleeping right here, and she's content, and she just wants to be with her people and be at her home. And I can't force her out of her comfort zone. I just wish she could do more, but it's okay.
Yeah. The puppy, his name's Sydney, goes to work with me every day.
Awesome.
Really? That's awesome.
He does really well. He's for his age. He's just getting to 6 months. He'll be 6 months April 2nd.
Wow.
And he's doing amazingly well for his age, but he's also about 12 pounds. So. He's only supposed to be between 4 and 8 for reference. So
wait, he's only supposed to be between 4 and 8 pounds? And he's 12?
And he's 12. There's a better than even chance he may end up at 16. His mother is 8 pounds. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I wanted to also, I have notes, good things I wanted to talk to you about. So real quick, also, I wanted to find out, when are you going to start reading me books and tell me
Oh
about?
God, she's been
I'm
talking
gonna
about
No,
this
this
for
is
have
3 days.
interesting. I know.
I
Sorry.
will have it recorded sometime this weekend.
Okay.
And
Oh
then I
wow,
will
that
try
quick?
to edit it, and then I'm hoping to have it up before Wednesday.
What's your
Nice.
what's the first book you're going to read?
Well, I'm gonna do just the story. So the first one I'm gonna do is The Little Mermaid, since
My favorite. Thank you.
it's coming
Mm.
around
Oh,
everywhere. I
that's
just
smart.
reread the story the other day, and reflecting on the way that is versus the Disney fairy tale again is
Mhm.
just so. It kills me every time I read one, and then I think about the Disney movie, and the fact that so many people don't realize there are actually other stories out
I
there.
didn't. See,
Yeah, I
you
know.
schooled me. I mean, I had no idea until we did that podcast with Tyler that there was a whole nother world out there. I'm sure I've heard it mentioned, but I didn't understand how dark they were.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, it's dark, but it's not at the same time, because
Mhm.
it's dark compared to what we feed our kids today. Let's put it that
Okay.
way, because now
Mm.
people try very hard to sanitize everything, so there's nothing scary, because you don't want the kid to be afraid, and they forget that the point of these stories is to introduce fear to kids and to help them manage it, to help them understand that this is part of life and this is part of growing, and just because you're afraid doesn't mean it's the end of the world.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
they keep
Yeah,
washing that out
like
slowly.
real life lessons.
Yes,
that are
very
very
much
important.
real life lessons.
Yeah.
And in the case of especially this Hans Christian Andersen, there's usually some kind of religious, semi-religious component to it on top of it.
So where are you gonna, like? Are you gonna live? Like, how are you gonna do? Are you just gonna do voiceover with a picture? Are you gonna do it like this, or like how are you gonna read it?
I'm going to I haven't quite decided. I was
Okay.
going to do just the voice with something in the background, but I don't know what yet.
Okay.
I may just pick I may try to pick some maybe mermaid art, or maybe I'll ask someone I know who does AI art to do some mermaid pictures for me.
Okay.
That would be awesome.
I think you have the perfect reading voice. Like, you and Vex have the best, like, I'm waiting for Vex to do audiobooks, because I'm a big, okay, so I'm going to tell you right now, I don't read books anymore because I audiobook everything, because it's convenient with like driving to work. And when I do work medical billing at, during the day, I can do audiobooks. This is perfect for you reading to me, but I will read your book, which, by the way, everyone, if you're interested in getting involved in a book,
Promotion.
started writing this it's called They Didn't See. Is that correct?
Yes.
And
Awesome.
it's a paranormal type story. Do you want to explain a little bit of your inspiration for this book and what made you want to write it and where you're going with it?
Honestly, the easy way to describe it is it's a paranormal take on the Lizzie Borden story.
Which that fascinated me. Lizzie Borden fascinates me.
Yeah, and that's so. I don't really want to explain too much, because I want to leave it basically in the story. But there will be an axe murder. I can tell you that much.
I read the
Got
first
me sold.
4 pages, and I was so mad that it was only 4 pages, because I'm like, I don't physically read books anymore, because I just don't feel like I have the
Time.
the mind. Just to, I feel like I'm always
yeah.
scatterbrained, but I could not stop reading it. It was so good. The way that you tell a story and the description of the Victorian house and the way you introduced everybody. You guys have to check this out. It's on her locals, and you can get to her information through her YouTube channel or wherever you can.
Her information's in the description for all of her links.
But
as well,
if you guys
only free to read, you don't have to pay me anything to read
there you
it.
go.
And if you want to talk
Even
to me
better.
about it, feel free to talk to me on Twitter. I can't figure out how to let people talk to me without having to pay me. I don't think I can, but
it's okay. I don't mind having
maybe
to
eventually.
Their options of payments are like 3 months, 6 months, and like a year or something. And so even if you just wanted to try it for like a week or so, I didn't see an option for you just to try it for a week. But it's
and maybe
definitely,
I should, because I can actually give free amounts. Maybe I should try that for.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind supporting you at all, because this book was, like I said, it was only 4 pages, and it grabbed me in those 4 pages. And I read, like, how many audiobooks did I read last year? I guess I'd have to look.
It was a number I couldn't even believe. I was like, wow.
But
How did you do that?
I try to do 1 book a week of audiobooks, which for me is pretty good because I'm very busy.
God,
but
please tell me this isn't true.
It's true. I saw it on Twitter.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah, exactly my sentiments, Whitebear.
Yeah, that was mine when I saw it.
So who the hell is he playing?
I don't know.
I don't even know anything about this new. I didn't even know there was a new Ghostbusters movie.
They kind of teased it at the end of the original of Afterlife, but they're making a second one. But if they're going to put Patton Oswalt in, I can't see where they're going anywhere good.
No, he's definitely not a fan of his, and I don't know. I liked Afterlife. I thought it was okay. It was nice seeing Harold Ramis at the end.
That part made me cry.
I cried too. I hate
like
it when I cry, but that part made me cry.
Yeah, and that story was the main story of the movie was but it was okay. It was nostalgia.
Too old to be the son of Louis Tully.
Yes, that is. Yeah. I don't know about that either. He's a puke. He's a puke. He used to be funny. Yeah, no, I agree. I used to actually I didn't mind him, and then he got political like everybody else.
I used to like him because he was married to this lady who was way into serial killers, which I'm also into. And she wrote a book, Michelle McNamara, I think, and she wrote that book on the
California.
And I read her book, and her book actually like helped solve the murder. So Patton Oswalt was everywhere for a while, and I used to really like him. And then of course he got friggin' woke, and everybody I like goes that direction and kills it for me.
Well, after 2016, a lot of things changed, and that pretty much cemented things.
Well, there's a difference between loving serial killers in terms of enjoying hearing about what they did, and loving serial killers in terms of wanting to sleep with them. I'm pretty sure myself and Mrs. Cannoli fall in the first category.
Yes, that's what she meant. Yeah,
weirdos fall in the second one. I can't explain those people.
Well, yeah, because who's the one that kept getting letters in jail? Who was
all of them?
The good looking. Well, yeah.
Well, Scott, the one that Scott Peterson.
Oh, well, he wasn't technically a serial killer.
No, he wasn't. But as far as like women going gaga over like men who have committed,
who was the one that they did a movie with Zac Efron played the guy? It was.
That wasn't. Well, I know Richard Ramirez, which is disgusting.
Wasn't Dahmer? No, it wasn't Dahmer. I forgot what it was, but whoever the charming one, I can't think of. God,
I know who you're talking about, but for some reason, I suddenly can't remember his name.
Yeah, I can't remember his name either.
Bundy. There you go.
Yeah. But yeah, Ted Bundy. That's it. Yeah, women were nuts over him.
First of all, at one point, my daughter thought Richard Ramirez was good looking, and I was
she's young and stupid.
Out of my house. He's disgusting. He is disgusting.
But when you look at somebody, it's okay to find them attractive until you know what they did, and then you have a problem.
Yeah, but
he's not even attractive. He's disgusting. His teeth were all rotted, and he looked like. When you start
putting people in a fridge and eating them, I think you got some problems.
Then there's
I'm fascinated with what they did, and I know that's terrible, but I've always like the genre of books that I read are always suspense, thriller, murder, police procedurals. If there's no murder in the book, I don't want. I'm not a romantic reader. I don't give a shit if you're playing kissy face. I want shit to go down. I want
death.
I want death. I want,
My only problem with that kind of true crime, it just gets so oversaturated, and it was everywhere. I kind of got burned out on it a little bit, and then it's like everything else. They just hit you over the head with everything, and then I pulled away, and then I came back. I think there's actually a couple of new. Isn't there a new something on? Oh my God, what was it? There's a new documentary or miniseries on Netflix that just came out too. It's about a true crime thing. What the hell is
How come I don't know about this, Cannoli?
There's a new one coming out all the time, though.
Yeah, I forgot what it was. Oh, it was about. No, I'm sorry. It's not true crime. It's about the Waco thing. Sorry. I guess it's technically different.
I've seen that. That was really disturbing the way that all went down. I don't think I understood exactly what went down. And to be honest with you, if I'm saying it right, weren't they just minding their own business, those people in Waco?
There were allegations of child abuse.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So things that was going on. I mean, anytime a group gets together and starts trying to live without the government gets pissed off.
Yeah, they really do. They really do. And then if you don't follow the rules, they like to create certain things and make you get a yada yada. So I'm just saying. you better follow the rules.
I'm
Yeah,
bad
she's
at
right
following
though. The
rules.
government doesn't like when you try to think freely and do your own thing, and it's
Well, it was
separate from the
interesting because
norm.
you had
Well,
posted the other day, Horror, maybe a couple weeks ago, that you had made a post about where like you were annoyed with both sides,
I'm
and
always annoyed with both sides.
what do you like that each side might contribute? Like, is there something on the right that you particularly like, and something on the left, or do you just?
I like the
Are you
parts
just-
where they want to leave me alone. I'm
Dude, yes.
I'm an anarcho-capitalist. As far as I'm
Mhm.
concerned, the entire government can go bury itself in the ocean. I don't need you. I don't want you. Leave me the hell alone. Anytime the government tries to do something, it almost always leads to worse results.
Mhm.
And I've been listening to Basic Economics by Thomas Sowell lately.
Wow,
'Cause
I
I
he's a
do audiobooks,
genius.
but I do it for nonfiction. I read my fiction books, but I have to listen to my nonfiction.
That man is a genius.
Oh my God.
He's so smart.
I have never been more pissed off at the government than while listening to this book. And I'm pissed off at the government all the time, especially right now with all this inflation stuff going on. When you learn about inflation and you learn what causes it and you learn their excuses.
Horror, honey, listen. Why don't you just print more money? Like
Oh,
that little
right.
girl said on
yeah, that
Tuesday,
lady.
print more money. You'll be
You-
fine.
I understand why we can't just print more money and then we can pay all the bills
People-
and give everybody money and everybody will rich. But yeah, that kind of
Never mind the
money is based
value.
on.
There's no value in the money anymore because you keep it's really frustrating. People. That's what I said to you. Is like they don't teach this stuff in school. Teach basic economics. Like I wish I wish there would be a program that they would teach people how to invest money, save money, not to get into debt. If you do get into debt, this is how you get out of it.
Well, getting into
It's like-
debt isn't necessarily a bad thing if you have a
No.
plan for how to get out of it.
There
if
you go.
know
Yeah.
what you're going to do with it.
Right.
But that's the problem is people go too far out to either side. I mean, you can do well not getting into debt. If you can avoid getting into debt, do it. But if you are in a position where you know that you're going to make this investment and you can work to pay off the debt that you take, and in the end you will come out richer, then do that.
Yes.
Right now,
It's an
taking debt
investment.
for
Yes.
college is not a good investment.
No,
Don't
it's not.
do it.
No.
Did
No, and
you
I
go to
agree.
college? Did you go to college, Horror?
Yes, and I'm still paying that. Well, technically.
Now, do you regret going to college, or did it help you?
I went to college because my uncle told me, well, my uncle was harassing me because if I didn't get my degree, I wasn't going to be a good role model for my cousin.
I've heard that before.
And
That's not fair.
I have always been tech related anyway.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
so I figure, screw it, I'll do the online Phoenix courses.
Oh yeah, University
And
of
then I'll
Phoenix.
have a piece of paper that I can show people in the event they say, you don't know what you're doing, you're a girl. And then I can say,
Oh.
look, this is
Oh,
a piece of
yeah.
paper, shut up.
Yeah.
So
No,
Well, yeah.
Lev is right. Trade schools are the real deal, and I wish
Just
they
learning
did
a
them more.
skill.
I know.
learning any skill. And I mean,
Right.
now you don't even need trade skills. YouTube can teach you most of it.
That there was another point. Doing this platform can do a lot for you.
So
But
let me ask you.
yeah,
Go ahead,
speaking
sorry.
of, well, real quick, just speaking on the debt thing, my boss just paid off his business in 5 years. It was almost $600,000.
And he's
But
in his 30s.
the guy put in 16-hour days, and
Mm-hmm.
it's stressful. I mean, I've been with him the whole way. I'm his right hand man. I've seen him stress out a lot to the point where physically it's taken its toll,
yeah.
mentally. But once he paid that debt off, he was even on the Gordon Ramsay show. He flew all the way to Tennessee
wow.
to be on the show because it was such a big deal. And
Yeah.
I was like, man, I was so proud of him, but it was work. It's not easy,
Mhm.
but it's doable.
It
And like you
But he
said,
got
there's a way
into
to
debt
work out of
be
things.
successful, though. He got into debt, but he had the plan, and
And
he
he
knew
worked.
exactly this is how many years.
Well,
that
it was either 15 years of paying the debt off or in 5 and then enjoying the benefits of.
Yeah.
So he did the short term plan and it worked. So that
So
I do
let
a
me
lot of
ask
work
you,
with a
though.
small business here in town. And
Oh.
yeah,
it's smart.
So, did your college degree help you get the job that you're in? I'm just curious because I'm not a college graduate, and I always
Like that smile says it all.
my college degree hasn't helped me do shit. Are you kidding me? Everything I learned in my college degree, I can Google. And
Gotcha.
honestly, I got my college degree through Googling because
Gotcha.
the information they gave me, literally, it's all out there. My
Okay.
degree, I have a bachelor's of science in information technology with an emphasis in web design.
Okay.
So everything they teach you, everything, and then on top of it, it was 6 years ago I graduated, and everything you learned then is basically irrelevant now.
Right, because it always changes. You'd
Oh,
have
yeah,
to
no.
be in school forever. Okay.
Technology is always changing. The fact of the matter is, if you want to work in web design, if you want to work programming or anything like that, fucking skip school, learn a language, code yourself some programs
There you
so
go.
that you have a portfolio and go out and do it, because fuck
Some
school.
actual experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you know what? It's interesting. My daughter has some struggles in life, and she's almost 15, and she's not currently in school right now. She's going to go back. It's a whole thing. But being on this journey with her nowadays, with all of this accessibility to knowledge, I feel like they need to. Okay, so we're so progressive with everything else, with abortion and this and that and transgender and all this bullshit. Why can't we be more progressive with school and kind of alter that to maybe what we need to learn moving forward now?
Because then you don't turn into good tax cattle.
Yeah, you're not a robot. You're not,
Yep.
And
it frustrates me.
The best thing, if you can do it, homeschool your kids.
She has been doing homeschool
Anything.
on and off, and I am involved in what she learns. And I'm like, it's just a freaking waste of time, because there's so many other things. I feel like if they restructured the curriculum to better suit where we're at now, I think that they would really make better human beings. But
no,
now
they don't want better. They
don't
want
care.
sheep. They want sheep.
They literally don't care.
I know.
I just posted the post on Twitter today because I was Thomas Massey put a bill in for to make the Department of Education publish what the curriculum is, what books they're having the kids read, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, you got a whole bunch of people who think that that's somehow a fascist thing to do, which really confuses the hell out of me. But I watched some Justin Amash, who became the only libertarian representative in the House of Representatives, put out another tweet saying to fund the Department of Education. And of course, people go way off the road walkers on that. The Department of Education is literally 3 years older than I am.
Wow.
Really?
I am 41. The Department of Education has existed for 44 years.
Wow.
In that 44 years, education has gotten worse and more expensive.
Yes.
So you're telling me that after 44 years with a worse product, we need to keep this thing around because somehow it's going to help our children? It's not.
Nope. It's
Let's
not
move
helping.
It's
It's
like
not
you said, they just see it as a cattle moving machine to create robots and drones to bend to their will, and just it's really sad. I really, you said the homeschooling thing really is exploded because COVID started that, but then after that, now with all this stuff they're teaching in schools now, and it's like if you can do it,
showed
do it.
so many parents what their kids are learning in school.
100%. Yep.
And
a lot
scary.
of it is wasted nonsense. Like, I understand. Well, why are we learning history? Because they want to change it anyway. They want to change everything that we've ever learned as kids. And I just feel like this day and age, there might be more beneficial things to learn, like how to be a functioning human being than
help society.
If you wanted, I feel like school should be structured, especially when you get to her age. School, your daily academic journey should be what you want to do later on. Like, if you want to be an engineer, then yes, you should go into math and you really should focus on that. But my daughter trying to do algebra, it's the whole, her self-confidence is shit because she can't figure it out. And so I feel like sometimes there's unnecessary pressure put on our kids when, if we maybe just found what they were good at and what they specialized in and maybe played off of their strengths, we'd have better kids.
Oh, that's the whole, if you've ever heard of unschooling, that's the whole purpose of that specifically, is it's how it's teaching kids how to learn. Really the most valuable tool you can give your kid is to teach them how to teach themselves.
Exactly. I agree.
That's what school does not teach anymore, is it doesn't teach you how to teach yourself.
Nope.
But to backtrack a little back to the history thing, because my mother and I have this discussion a lot.
Okay.
Because she went to school just before the Department of Education, and obviously I went to school a little bit afterwards. But the difference in what they teach and how they teach now is astounding. Her mother learned calculus in school.
Okay.
They actually progressed to the point they taught calculus in a school. Back in the that would have been the 50s, 40s.
Mm-hmm.
It just as far back as that. My mother, we were discussing history specifically. What a lot of people don't realize is the reason so many people died of starvation during the well, not starvation, but the reason so many people died during the Great Depression wasn't because there wasn't food. There was a surplus of food. They couldn't afford it because of the devaluation of the dollar, because inflation had inflated
Nothing
so
was worth
bad,
anything.
so
Yeah.
far, and the government stepped in and put in price protections for the agriculture. It made the food worth more than the money they had.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
I mean, that was the biggest part of the Great Depression, not the fact that there wasn't any food. It
Right.
was the fact that they literally couldn't afford it because of the steps the government took.
The government took, yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And so, I mean, and they taught my mother that in school, but by the time I got to school,
They
what we
didn't teach
learned
us
about was
that.
the Dust Bowl and
Yep.
that
You're
you know
right.
everybody was starving, but they never looked at why.
Nope.
No,
I
they don't
never
want to.
learned
No.
We Cannoli and I are the same age. We're just a couple years older than you. We never learned any of that.
Yeah.
Well, that's
news
like
to
you
me.
said, though. They don't want you to know the why.
No, they don't.
They just want you to just
you.
exist and listen to
Mhm.
them. And well, you see, I
They
don't
want
know
you
if
to
you
know
got,
how to do your taxes. Because
No, they
then
don't
when
want
grow
free
up and
thinkers.
Understand that they're
Yeah.
left.
Yeah. Seriously. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They don't even get me started on taxes. It's freaking ridiculous. Drives me nuts. But did you see this story about the IQ, the average IQ
Yeah.
dropped for the first time, and especially
I have a lot
between
of
ages of
questions.
8. Yeah, and I'm like, well, where are they getting this information from? So it's, I think they said it's dropped like three points overall in the last, I don't know how many, like 100 years, and I'm like, wow, that's a big
There's
drop.
two important things to realize with that, though.
Mhm.
One, IQ does not necessarily mean someone is more or less intelligent or more or
I
less
agree.
capable. There are a lot of people with lower IQs that through just sheer labor and trying are very intelligent and do amazing things.
Yeah.
IQ is not a limiting factor in this world. And it's also more of a measurement of how easily you learn versus what you are capable of learning.
I agree there.
So the fact that it's dropping, not necessarily an up or down thing, but in the end, it's, of course it's dropping because people aren't the nurture part of intelligence is being dumbed down to the point where it doesn't have to exist.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's really sad. I don't know. I look at the future, I look at my own kid, and I'm like, what's going to happen if she had children 15 years from 15 years from now? It's like, what world do they, well, hopefully never. She's not allowed
She
to go
doesn't
out.
want kids, and she said that because it's funny. I like the
It's
fact that
scary.
she's oblivious to most things, but she will say, I don't want kids. And I go, why? She goes, they're freaking expensive. Look at what you have to do for me. And I was like, I respected that. So
White Bear knows me very well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
you're not lying. You're not lying.
Yeah,
But no, it's a lot of, and that's another thing too. Like a lot of younger people don't want to have kids. So there's a whole issue with the population in the future. Because my boss is 33, 34, and he's like, I don't know if I want them. And people like my daughter's age, or even in that 15 to 25-year-old bracket, they don't want kids. They're like, so it's I don't know if it's a selfish outlook or more of just.
Well, I mean, 15, that's actually.
Well, that, I mean, like more into like the people in
they
their
don't
20s.
want kids.
Yeah, I
I'm
understand
41.
that.
I still don't have kids. I want kids. I'm hoping that in the near future I'll
Someday.
be able to do that before it's too late. But
it's never
There you
too
go.
late. We have at my office, just to let you know, we've delivered women up to 47 years old, pregnant on their
6 more
own.
years. Okay.
So you have time. You're good. But I just
No,
wanted to
there's
let you know,
time. Yeah.
It's for 40s used to be like back in the day. It was like 40-year-old mom. Now it's way more common.
say
than
it's
you
pretty
think.
typical,
The medicine is we do it quite often, to be honest. So
I have a biologist friend that I met through streaming, and he
Awesome.
he can define a woman for one, so that's great.
Oh, good. He's
that's
smart.
good.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Anytime someone asks what's a woman, I tag him and I let him take care of it because he's the professional, and he's actually getting into IVF and stuff. But
wow.
he said that women can procreate into their 50s. I mean, it happens. So.
It can. What about Hillary Swank? Isn't she like 47 and having twins?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I want to say that always fascinates me though too, because
movie.
yeah.
I know that about her.
Yeah, there you go.
But
Hey,
you
that's
know
all you need
what,
to know.
you know what's interesting, that the fact that you and I can create a human being,
Yeah.
I get very offended when these other people, I feel like they insult us. The fact that we can grow a human being, like the transgender community is very disrespectful to
God,
women
yes.
who are actually women. And I know you feel that way.
I get very, very irritated with it. I know some wonderful transgender people.
Sure.
And the
I
fact
do
of the
too.
matter
I know
is
one
part
too.
of what makes them wonderful is the fact that they realize that I'm a woman and they are a transgender person.
Good.
And it's okay to be a transgender person. It's
Yes.
not okay to walk around parading and pretending to be a woman. Those are
There you
two
go.
very different things.
Yeah.
I agree.
I
Yeah,
agree.
we're just in a weird timeline right now. I feel like we're in like some freaking
Alternate universe.
like the Matrix, basically. I feel
Yeah.
just something's glitched and it's off.
Well, the fact that I'm a
I don't
woman and
know.
I'm actually being made to feel bad that I'm a woman. What is he saying?
Oh, I'm working out more
Oh,
than
yeah,
anyone.
she
I'm
is.
like,
I know. I see her stats every day.
how do you
She's
know what
killing
I'm?
it.
I'm not working out at all. That's why I do the diet thing to the letter, so I don't have to do that. But
Yeah,
Run
no,
them bands. Run them
I-
bands.
good for her.
I got to work on the diet thing a little bit, but yeah.
It's tough.
Hey, you know what?
Really
My issue isn't what I eat; it's the portion control part.
That was my
That's
problem.
I eat plenty of. I mean, I eat my vegetables. I eat
Mhm.
meat and everything.
Mhm.
I don't eat a lot of sugar. I just eat too much, and I have to cut back on that some, as well as doing the working out. But it's a work in progress.
No,
Have
listen,
you ever looked into doing the intermittent fasting?
I basically do already.
Good.
Because I'll eat from about 9 in the morning till 10 is the hours I eat between, and then I don't.
there you go.
But outside that, I don't.
So
eat.
you're basically doing it without actually. Yeah,
I
I get
probably
it.
go a little longer than you're supposed to because I think women are supposed to have 10 hours and men are supposed to do 8.
Mhm.
But
That's what I do.
I do
Yeah.
16. We do 16/8.
16/8.
I start eating at 10:30 in the morning and stop at 6:30 p.m. and
That
then
window, yeah.
don't eat till the next.
No, but I understand what she's saying though. The portion control was my issue, and as I got older, my metabolism's like no, stops,
Yeah.
slows down. It's like no, and then then as we all know, I almost died because of it, and then so I had no choice at that point,
Yeah.
and it's doable. It's baby steps. As long as
Thank
you're
you,
aware
White Bear.
and take that step, you're doing
He's
doing better than most people. So, what did he say?
He said, yeah, he's seen my cooking apparently.
And if I want to have it now, I got to the point where I got to a weight I'm comfortable, I maintain. So if I want to have a cheat meal once in a while, I will do it. But that's why I'm very neurotic about my diet, because I don't like working out either. I hate it. That rowing machine is obnoxious. It's a great workout.
I do it 4 nights a week when I can, and like we were saying before, I hate the thought of doing it. Like I'm driving home from work going, oh, I got to work out. What's a good excuse not to work out? And then
but I found a diet that works.
That's why I'm doing my workouts the way I am, because there really is no excuse to not do it. I just all I have to do is get up off my ass, stand in the middle of my living room and do it. I don't even have to sit down. What are you doing?
I haven't actually investigated like what you post, but what are the different things that you're doing?
Right now I'm doing I do about 80 jumping jacks.
Okay.
I'm working on, I've got up to 30 squats.
Wow.
And
God, those are hard.
I do 30 arm raises. And I just increased the arm raises yesterday.
Okay.
One of the two. And I mean, that's basically what I'm doing is I'm just picking exercises until I've built a longer workout routine that works my whole body, that I don't have the excuse of, I can't go to the gym, or there's something wrong. I don't want to put the machine in the room or something like that. I'm basically making it so that I don't have many excuses, other than if I'm having a severe fibro flare, I know I can't on that day because that'll just make it worse.
Right.
Or if I'm sick or something.
I think that's the key to it too, is if it's convenient. Like I have a rowing machine in my bedroom. There's no reason why I can't. Like it's even a pain in the ass to like undress from work and put your workout clothes on and get the iPad because it's hooked to the iPad and put it on and blah 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 blah. But you're right. It's self-discipline, which is really hard. But you'll definitely get there, and you'll start to see the
like
hard
I
work
said, you're
pay off.
doing better than most people because you're actually doing something. And
People keep telling me I'm going to see results. I'm at the point where it's like I feel like I've been doing it for a little bit. Why aren't I seeing anything? But I
was there with you. Now, Cannoli dropped a lot of weight really quick because his body responded to keto.
Yeah, it was a man, and the keto just went, it burned off. But
it's easier for men. It's not fair.
It took a lot longer, and I got discouraged. And you know what? I had to learn that it's not the weight. Like I didn't want to weigh myself. It's how you fit in clothes, how you feel about yourself. From a women's standpoint, I think our bodies are so much different. And so I couldn't, he weighed himself once a week, like religiously. Me, I couldn't but sometimes if you felt like you got off track, you need to weigh yourself to see that number to get back on track. But it's not necessarily how much you weigh because you could be replacing, I learned you could be replacing fat with muscle.
Yep.
So you have to be careful. Yeah.
Well,
because it can get really discouraging.
I actually weigh myself 3 times a week just to make sure I'm not gaining because for about 2 years, I'd maintained my weight, but then I came off birth control and I gained about 10 pounds.
That'll do it.
So I'm kind of at the point where I'm a little discouraged just because I have that extra 10 pounds I have to get rid of.
Yeah.
And I've got to lose like 120
total.
Have you ever thought about doing keto? Do you think your body would respond to that? I mean, everybody is so different. Mine doesn't. I can't do it being a vegetarian. It's too hard to be strict keto.
Other than the fact I eat potatoes, I basically do keto.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, it's my like I said, my diet really isn't that bad other than the portions. Like tonight's dinner. Well, tonight's dinner was probably not a good example. Tonight's dinner was chicken quesadillas.
That's okay.
Those are so good though. Oh my god.
That's okay.
But yeah, I mean, like normally, I'll do. Last night we had steak, and was last night steak? What was last night?
Thursday.
I have no idea what we had for dinner.
That's okay.
It was maybe a meat substance.
The night before we had steak. I know that. And asparagus and roasted potatoes.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
I mean, that's not even bad. That's good.
Last night was okay. I remember last night. Last night I tried to do something with pork belly slices, and it didn't come out quite right. That was last night. That's why I can't remember it.
Yeah, it's really hard to, and it's hard to find what your body's going to respond to. Like Cannoli found.
It was the pork belly.
Oh yeah, he's listening.
If you waited for the latency to catch up, you'd have caught that.
He had to correct it right away.
I'm here now.
Yes, I know you are.
Hey, buddy.
That's okay. I've done that before too. I run downstairs in my robe and I start yelling at Cannoli off camera because I'm like, you're getting the facts wrong.
On the midweek hump, if you can hear my mother, we live with my mother, but we'll be sitting there and we'll say something on stream and you can hear her yelling up the stairs, whatever in the world. We need to get her fucking computer set up because my mother has everything to start podcasting because she wants to. And honestly, she'll be great at it when she finally gets into it. But she has everything, and so we need to get her set up and actually, so she, instead of yelling up the stairs,
she can just say it on the microphone.
Yeah. I mean, we'll be sitting here and especially if you're talking about COVID, Trump, or anything tax related. If she has something to correct you on, she yells.
She's going to let you know. Oh, yeah. I would love to listen to her podcast.
So she must have been on edge this week waiting for Trump to be arrested.
She was convinced it wasn't happening. She was right. Shouldn't say she was convinced. She basically knew it wasn't going to happen.
Knew it wasn't going to happen.
Any more than I mean, I knew it wasn't going to happen. It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's just it's so stupid. I'm just so, you know, what's interesting is that Twitter's new for me. I started Twitter, I don't know, maybe a couple months ago, maybe less than that.
I'm sorry.
And because he's like, if you're going to do this thing, you got to interact with your people.
It helps.
And I gotta tell you, no, it's good. I love it now. I really love the little community and stuff. But you learn that there's so much bullshit out there, and there's just so much. I just can't.
It's like I said on the Wednesday midweek. This is nothing. What we're seeing now. Wait till the election gets closer. It's going to be a shit show, and it might actually be worse than what 2020 was. And
it's worse every year. I am so tired of this. Is the most important election of your life. Every election is the most important election of your life because it's the most recent election. Oh my god!
Right.
Let's just shoot them and get over with. Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay.
I'm not monetized, so don't even feel bad.
No,
nothing's getting taken away.
I don't feel bad at all.
No,
please. We wouldn't care.
I agree with you. I always make that joke. Like if they just disappeared, the politicians tomorrow, everything would be better. I'm tired of it too.
Politics makes everything worse.
I used to be that guy that was probably lean more conservative on things. I had the Daily Wires. I think I just got so sick of it because I'm like,
just too much.
They're just mouthpieces for each side, and then nothing's getting solved, nothing's getting done. And I'm like, I'm not supporting these people anymore. I'm going to put this money into my content now, and then put my voice out there. And again, I don't know. It's just insanity.
It's another one of those parts that I'm listening to Basic Economics, and he's talking about just one of the basic examples he pulls out about bus lines, and he's talking about how the bus lines may want to raise their prices to cover upcoming. They need to replace the buses and stuff because wear and tear and etc.
Yeah.
And a politician will run, oh, we can't do that. We're going to keep the prices the same. And they'll get elected because that's what people want to hear. And then 10 years down the line, the buses are falling apart and there are fewer buses and longer lines and people are upset about it. And they blame the other side for not funding or whatever. And you kick the can down the road to be somebody else's problem and blame the next person. And the fact that people keep falling for it, I think, honestly, I think I blame the politicians for what they do because obviously they're supposed to supposedly be part of helping people is what we're taught they're supposed to do. But what they're humans, they're out for their own self-interest, same as the rest of us. The part that I'm getting more and more frustrated with is the people who just listen to them and don't look at the results, don't think about what's going on and how what they're doing is going to affect things further down the line. And I can't even blame current day people because it's been going on forever. That's why we are where we are, is because it's from the 60s, 70s, 80s forward, every time somebody voted for something because, oh, that sounds good. Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, I don't want to pay more. It's why we're where we are.
But you're right. Instead of researching it and see how it's going to affect things down the line, they're just like, oh, okay, that sounds great. We're gonna, or this group, it's that tribal thing where this group is voting for this way. I have to vote this way. It's really sad.
To some degree it's understandable because we all live lives. We all have things we have to do and things we want to do. We don't have the time to sit down and research every one of these little things the government pushes at us. And so they don't want to do it. They just want to live their lives and move on. And
I agree.
It's frustrating.
It is very frustrating.
You know what? Back when Trump was running, I really was more of like, I don't know, Greg or Cannoli, what would you call me? A liberal mindset?
No, I would say you leaned more. I wouldn't say you were a liberal. No, I think you just maybe a little more Democrat. Like, I wouldn't say Democrat, a little more left leaning. But again, I was a little more right because of my upbringing. And then I kind of went more towards the middle now because I just couldn't take it anymore. But yeah, I would say you probably leaned a little left. But
and then we did, with Trump running, it got me interested in figuring out what politics are all about. And I really didn't understand where I stood until I researched both sides of it. And they're both full of shit. I get that. But who's more full of shit? And at the time, I felt like before it really happened, we had Hillary and Trump, and I felt like it was two piles of shit. Which one is a bigger pile? And, but I did try to do a lot of research and reading up and what, because I think before people just vote off of like silly things instead of really investigating. But it's really hard because they could feed you such a line of BS and you vote for them and that never happened. So, but I didn't.
Or it's like when you have a president, even if you don't tote that political line, where like you say Obama or a Trump, if they did things that were good, you're not going to admit. There's people who won't even admit that. Hey, I didn't like him here. Even with Trump, you don't have to like Trump. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you feel about it, how you felt about his presidency. He did a lot of things well, and if you didn't like some things he didn't do, fine, explain it. But don't just pick a side just because you have to pick a side and go, he's the worst. Nothing he did was good. And the same goes, like I said, for any president. Biden, I'm still
a politician. So,
and there you go. No, I agree.
My thing is, politician bad.
Yeah, I agree.
But
I'm at that point now. Yeah,
but I mean, he did some good things. He did some bad things. One of the best things he did was he slashed a great deal of regulation.
Yeah.
He took government out of people's lives and allowed them to prosper economically.
Right.
So, I mean, that's a great thing to do. There's a lot of other dumb shit he did.
Right.
No, I agree. I'm totally agree.
I'm the first to admit that, like, I didn't really agree with a lot of things that Obama did, but I will tell you, I could listen to him talk all day because he had a way of speaking. No. Well, versus
compared to maybe, who do we have before him? Bush?
Well, he was just
so.
I felt like
maybe there. I know what you mean, but
yeah,
I don't think he's as good a speaker as people think he was.
He's a good speaker when he has a script, when he has
maybe
a
written
speech in front of him. Then he can orate all right. But I don't like listening to him just because I don't like to be fed a bunch of bullshit. And that's not his fault. That's whatever he's doing.
He's doing what? Yeah, he's playing the game.
Yeah, he's reading a speech, but when he's speaking alone. He goes a lot. I mean, he has those long weird pauses. And I don't like that either. Honestly, instead of listening to a politician speak, I would much rather have it printed on a piece of paper so I can skim it and throw it away.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, at least he could read the teleprompter versus who we have.
Yeah, I was going to say with Biden, it's sad at this point.
It's sad.
They just prop him up there and do whatever they have to keep him awake. And I don't know. It's really
is possibly the ultimate example of the hypocrisy of the Democratic Party.
Yep.
Yeah.
Quite literally. But
you're right.
I mean, the fact that part of what bothers me in general in terms of our political system is we're talking about two parties.
Mm-hmm.
There are more than two parties in this country. Yeah, it shouldn't be.
Agree.
I mean, you shouldn't have to pick between two piles of shit. You should get three piles of shit to pick
from.
I
agree. Yes, I wanted that third pile of shit.
But again, they're the two that hold the most power and money and the political influence.
They're the two that have the ability to. I mean, and I guess this is the part that again frustrates me the most is. You vote the two parties in and you say, well, the Libertarian Party isn't doing enough to get on the ballot. And then you hear about the Democrats and Republicans passing a bill in Minnesota or trying to pass a bipartisan bill in Minnesota to increase the percentage of votes that you need to get on as a major party to 10% from 5% because the other parties are edging up to that 5%. So you have two parties working to actively keep the other parties out, and you want to tell me these people are in it for my good. I don't believe you.
No, I agree.
That's the problem.
And the funny thing is that people don't realize that these two parties that supposedly are working for the people, they're working behind the scenes together. They're friends with each other. It's such bullshit.
Oh no!
And as I've gotten older, it's like they're all full of shit. They're going to talk in front of the cameras and do their act, but behind the scenes, they don't suffer like normal people do. They don't care. They don't have to.
They're that mean girl in high school that would say, "Do you know what she said about you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you know that she's been talking to your boyfriend?
Yeah.
And while she's talking to your boyfriend and sleeping with him.
Yeah.
Yep. It's exactly dirty. It's all dirty, dishonest. And you can't trust any of them. And you're absolutely right.
And the problem is, though, people keep asking, is it going to get better? When's it going to change? I don't know. I don't know if it ever is.
And it will change when the people decide to change.
Yeah.
Until then, it's not going to. Until the people decide that they're tired of living this way, of things consistently getting worse, despite the promises we're fed, it's not going to change. And the place you have to focus on that change is at home. You have to focus on who's running for your mayor, who's running for school board, who's running for commissioner, who's running for your local state
the smaller
government. You have to start there, because those people are the people who filter up into Congress and all that other stuff. And
I learned a lot about that.
Yeah. And that's another thing, to backtrack to education. They don't teach that shit in school anymore. Nope. I don't remember learning about the government of my city in school. They never taught me, who is mayor? How many kids, how many 15-year-old kids know who the fuck the mayor is?
My kid doesn't. I mean, how many adults even know who the friggin' mayor is half the time? Because they don't educate you in school. That's what I'm saying. I shouldn't have had to educate myself in my late 30s on politics. Like, I should have been given those tools in high school in order to, because you're supposed to be able to vote at what, 21? Or is it 18? I don't remember. They keep changing things.
They want to go younger now.
No, they want you to be able to vote at 16, but you still can't smoke until 21.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I have an almost 15-year-old, and I would not let her vote at 16. They don't know what they don't.
No, but that's what they want. This is the whole point.
No, I know.
I mean, realistically, I wouldn't let anybody vote. So.
I was gonna say some adults aren't any better than the 15 or 16.
But the thing is, being in my late 30s and just figuring out politics and educating myself on my own terms. Why aren't we given that information in?
There's a reason. Like
they don't
said.
want.
I know.
They don't want you to think freely or have knowledge about anything that's going to hurt them. So
I get it. It's terrible. That's why us as parents have to educate. We don't care what side our daughter is on. We give her the tools and she can make her own, but she tends to side with us. But you know what? If she likes some woke TV show, that's her business. I'm not going to tell her.
Yeah, I just let her kind of learn for herself. If she has questions, I'll answer.
But it's so funny because she'll like during the election and stuff. She's like, "Mom, I was talking to so and so today, and her family likes Biden. Can you believe that?"
And I'm like, okay, I got neighbors around me who are Biden people, and the first rule when we meet each other, great people, and I'm like, do not talk politics with me.
We don't talk politics.
And that's it.
Every time he asks me, but every time he asks me who I voted for, we don't talk about it anymore. But before, I always said Kanye because Kanye, rare.
Yeah, we're gonna go.
I voted for Kanye.
For Ye. But I thought the pandemic was really going to change things, and
they made it worse.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. Unfortunately, I thought people would wake up.
Desperate to not have to worry about things in general. So if there is somebody out there who will give them a one-size-fits-all pill here, this will fix everything, just do this and you'll be okay, they'll do it because they want that. They want things to be easy. Life isn't easy, and unfortunately I have to blame, to come back around in a circle, I have to blame some of our culture for that, because we keep teaching our kids that if it's too hard for you, you can find somebody else to fix it for you, sweetie. No, you can't. No. You have to fix it yourself, or it's not going to get better.
And I've been a victim of that as a parent, just because of the without going into too much detail, the mental issues that my daughter was diagnosed with. I made the mistake as a parent, but she was 7 when she was diagnosed. So I made the mistake as a parent making things a little bit too easy for her because I was so heartbroken that she was struggling so much. And now that she's almost 15, she's gotten accustomed to, if it's too hard, that's my trigger. I'm going to bounce. So I'm struggling with trying to teach her to become uncomfortable or comfortable with the uncomfortable, and realizing that life is hard. There's going to be a lot of things that you have to deal with, and you can't always just find something that's easier.
Well, the difference is, though, is having the awareness that it was not helping. Now, it's later now, but I'm the opposite. I was the opposite. I was the tough love. Maybe a little. I don't want to say I was too tough, but I could have been a little more compassionate. I've gotten more compassionate, but still, like, hey, you know what? The real world's not going to care about your problems. Like, you got to work.
But the real world also, the real world doesn't care about mental illness, and they don't make it very easy. No. The amount of time and money in this journey that I've been on with her has opened my eyes so much too. And I know it's a whole nother stream, but
that's a female perspective stream.
Instead of blaming, no, it's not. This is a real world problem. Instead of blaming guns, why don't we figure out why people are picking them up in the first place?
Wow.
The mental illness and the things that are not available to help us. The medication's expensive. The therapy is expensive. Trying to see a doctor
They make it hard, yeah.
It's so hard, and it's why we are. That's the bigger picture, and I think that's what I get so frustrated with our government. They want to fix things. Let's not ban guns. Let's talk about
There's no fixing. No.
Hey, let's stop giving money to the Ukraine. Let's put money into our mental health here in the United States and help our people that really need it. Because if you can't get the medication you need, I'm sorry, I'm not all about
the government version of fixing is more control. We just want more control.
I know. But it's just really sad that there's so many, we're just this country is so misguided in what needs to really happen. And I think we're not taking the proper steps to fix what we need to fix. I think things would be so much easier if we just looked at the bigger picture.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of the tools we need now are locked behind government gates.
Yeah.
You have to go through the government hoops to get to the help that you need. And you can only have that help if they decide that you need that help.
Yep.
And that's honestly the biggest problem I've always had with the government getting anywhere involved in healthcare. Because the moment it is not between me and my doctor, then we have a problem. Because while I don't always trust my doctor either,
smart.
The two of us, between the two of us, we can typically come to the right answer. The government has nothing to do with it. If it wasn't for the government, in many ways, a lot of those things wouldn't be as expensive. I mean, just look at the surgery market. You can go down and get a butt lift for like $5,000. I'm going to need cataract surgery eventually, and I hate to think how much that's going to cost. Because it's not
can I just tell you something? I had to get hearing aids. I'm 40. I'll be 43 tomorrow. So if anybody wants to send me paper, no, I'm just kidding. I'm 40, I'll be 43 tomorrow, and I had to get hearing aids. Okay,
not cheap.
$6,000.
Holy shit! Wow.
And guess what? I had to finance it because I can't afford. So you mean to tell me that I have to, so I can hear, I have to pay $6,000 when, I'm sorry, there's other people getting things for free, or, I just feel like everything is ass backwards.
Oh, it definitely is.
Medical's ass backwards. Why is it so expensive for people to hear and see? Your cataracts are going to be.
You got a compliment from Steven, see?
Oh, thank you, Steven. Yeah, 43 tomorrow. I'm not liking it at all.
I just turned 41, so I understand.
Yeah, it's 40 didn't. Okay, so first of all, 40 hit when the pandemic hit, and I was so pissed.
That was bad.
Because my birthday's in March, so everything shut down. All the tour, like the musicians started canceling their tours and stuff. So I had the week of my 40th birthday, I was going to see Celine Dion, which I'm obsessed with, and I was going to. This is a way off the other side. And I was going to a monster truck show because I'm a freaking hillbilly inside. And everything got canceled. Everything got canceled. I was so disappointed. But anyway, the point of it is that I work in the healthcare industry, and I have for years. And what I have to do to fight to get my doctors paid, I don't think it's fair that we have to pay so much to see and hear.
It's ridiculous.
And for my daughter to get what she needs mentally. So that's my other gripe is I feel like the big pharma, and to go into another topic of the transgender and stuff, where I feel like, yes, there are people that definitely are transgender, and I support the 1% that actually were born that way. But the ones that weren't, and it's all mental, the pharmaceutical companies have to keep giving you estrogen, testosterone, and whatever it is to keep you going. So you're with them for life. Yep. And so everybody's in bed together, but yet.
Aww. Look, Mama Amorata is in the chat. Hello. She just subscribed to the channel. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
So that's just my biggest gripe, because if you've listened to Vex talk, Vex has talked about how Canada will pay for your full transition.
That woman's got to get the hell out of there.
And they support that 100%, but you and I want to hear it and see, and we can't get anybody to help us. Even insurance doesn't cover it.
Well, to talk about insurance and all that stuff, I live in Montana. There's a lot of rural areas in Montana. We are losing doctors at a huge rate because a lot of doctors can't get paid enough if they're not associated with a high school, or not high school, hospital. And so you have a town. I mean, we're talking a town of maybe 100 people. They don't have a hospital. and they don't have a doctor now because he can't keep himself paid because the insurance won't bill to him because he's not with a hospital. It's fucking ridiculous. Yes, people live in
It
Montana.
is.
There's a reason we live in Montana.
Yes,
because
it's a
there aren't
beautiful
many people
state.
here.
Thank you.
No, it's true. And out here in
Hey, I was just
Arizona,
playing. I was just playing Far Cry 5 today, and I was in Montana.
there's a lot of doctors
It
out
is
here
gorgeous.
that the small doctors are being bought up by the big corporations, and everybody's going to call centers. There's no intimate services anymore where you actually call your doctor's office and speak to somebody in the office.
Yeah.
Everything is just being bought up and outsourced, and it's a hot mess. And I could go on for hours because I'm in the industry, but I feel for you when I think oh, jeez. Okay.
Hey, Montana's a beautiful state. Stop it.
Yeah.
I love Montana.
Cannoli's always wanted to go there. So
I would love to visit Montana. It's one of the states that
Cannoli's
I always
wanted to go
pinpoint.
there.
It's gorgeous there. I want to go.
So-
Eventually,
I
I'll
love
go.
it here. I mean, I if you guys come up and visit, pass through Great Falls, I'll take you out for a great steak.
Love it.
I'm in.
They'll have a steak and I'll have a vegetarian option, but hey.
No, they have
Oh.
salads there, I think.
Yeah, they got salad.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I am really looking forward to meeting. I
Need
didn't know
croutons.
you guys. I didn't know you guys were going to make it out to Vegas until this stream, so I'm really excited to get to meet you. It's going to be
No,
nice.
it'll be fun. That
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, one of the best parts of going to these meetups is just meeting everybody.
Yeah.
For those out there who can, I highly recommend getting to one. Even if you don't get to hang out with like Gary or anybody, you get to meet so many great people. People who do and don't stream, the other people who are in the chat with you. It's great.
Yeah.
And I absolutely recommend it.
I'm actually, at first, when we first booked this, I was looking forward to meeting, geeks and gamers and stuff because we followed them for so long. But as the time has progressed, talking to you and just meeting like Roman of the Empire and Tyler and Static and
All
just
of them, everybody.
all
yeah.
of them. Now the fact and Joker, like to go to his bar after the meetup and have a drink, like I think I'm almost looking forward to meeting my people.
Yeah.
More so that we're in this little community of our own, and I'm really looking forward to meeting all of you guys. So I'm very excited. I had no idea you were going, so that's awesome.
I knew because she said it
Because
Wednesday.
We're
during her
driving
show.
down.
I watched the whole thing on Wednesday, but
She said we're going and we're driving. How
I
long
was-
of a drive is that from Montana?
I
to
was
Vegas?
sick, Cannoli.
Like
I'm sorry.
18 hours,
It's not bad.
something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe
Ours is
four.
We're
full.
driving too. It's only
Yeah.
four
It's only four and a half hours from us. We're just the state over, so it's a little
I
bit.
know
But
it's like 8 hours from here to Salt Lake City.
Okay.
okay. Oh, that's right. Because you were talking to Shags about meeting up. That would be awesome.
And all
yeah,
of them are going to be out there too, right? Everybody on that
Shags will be
panel.
Yeah.
there, but we don't know about No Green Rocks yet.
Oh,
And
okay.
obviously, Mr. Grant Gregory's not going to be there because he lives in Australia. Oh, it's 16 hours. Excuse me. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mom.
Okay.
there you go. Correction. Moms know.
Mom's always
Um,
correct, don't they?
So
Especially
I know.
mine.
Yeah, of course. Well, they all do. Mine does. She thinks she knows everything too. No, they do. They have world experience.
We do know
um,
everything.
So before we cut for the end of the show, I wanted to know. So if you had to pick, all right. So you have a gaming genre that you like to play, but do you have like a favorite retro game that you go back to and have to play or rotate around?
Oh, define retro.
Well, okay. Let's go. Let's go through a Super Nintendo. Do you have anything specific?
Oh god, there were so many.
Because I've been
good
playing a
games.
lot of that on the Switch lately, and I'm having a blast.
One of my favorite games on the Super Nintendo specifically was it Legend of Gaia?
Yeah,
I want to
Yeah.
say the name was.
I think that. Yeah, you're right.
That's
great
a really
game.
good one.
Yeah,
What's
see, I
your
like those
favorite
retro
gaming
games.
console that you have? Like, do you just computer game or do
She's
you have
PC, right? You do mostly
I have
PC.
I have everything. I have
Okay.
course.
PC, I have Switch, I have a PS5, I have an Xbox Series X.
Nice.
What's your favorite
But
to
I
play
mostly play on PC.
on? Okay.
Chrono Trigger was a good game.
Yeah, it's a good game.
But yeah, I mostly play on PC. But there are some games that aren't quite as good
Mm-hmm.
on PC. They just play better on a console.
On a console.
So
Yeah.
that's why I have them.
Yeah.
No, that's
So do you have like any games coming up that you're looking forward to that are on the horizon, or are you just kind of like, what I have is
I
good
can't
for
think
now?
of any specifically right now. Gaming is so hit and miss right now.
Yeah.
So many remakes coming out, unfortunately.
Oh, God.
I will probably play. I am interested in the Silent Hill 2 remake.
Yes.
Just because I didn't get to play the first one, and to buy the first one is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
So I'm
Didn't Resident Evil just come out? Wasn't it Resident Evil 4?
4 just came out.
That
And I
looks good.
probably won't play that one just because I never got into the Resident Evil.
Neither
much.
have
I did play 8, which was
Mhm.
fun. But
Yeah, me neither. I wasn't I've played them, but I wasn't like a massive fan of the genre. I think the only other recent one I was told to play is the Deep Space remake.
Dead Space.
Dead Space. Jesus, what did I say? Well, it is in deep space, but it's Dead Space. That one.
Technically not wrong.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you for helping me out on that one. Yeah, but I had a Switch, and then I stupidly got rid of it, and then I just got one recently because I was like, I really missed those games, and then it's a good family
and I
system.
can play too. I don't mind watching him play all the Mario games because it's nostalgic, and then
There was so many good games on those, and the retro games they added more and more in the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance. It's like, wow, I really. So
Sega games. I got to play Echo the Dolphin again.
Dude, yeah, Echo exactly all the games ever. Yeah, so I was like, this is fantastic, and it finally became worth the subscription price. But I'm having a blast with that, and then I think the only other I've learned a lot of. I learned the hardest lesson with Cyberpunk. I'm never pre-ordering a game ever again.
You just pre-ordered Zelda, sir.
That's different. I trust Nintendo to get it right. So okay, I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. I did pre-order the new Zelda game, but it's Nintendo. They're not going to screw up a Zelda game. At least that's what I'm hoping.
They do their development differently is the big thing. I didn't have that many problems with Cyberpunk simply because at the time it came out, my laptop was a really powerful machine. So other than some few hard crashes to the blue screen of death, I didn't suffer a lot of bugs or glitches or anything. But yeah,
I waited. I pre-ordered, then I pulled off, and then I waited until about a year later when they were announcing all these updates. And I got it for my PS5 for like $5 at GameStop, gaming store. And I was like, wow, I was on sale because nobody was buying it. But I liked it. I thought it was a fun game. It was good. It was nothing spectacular, but everybody was trying to say, oh, it's CD Projekt Red. It has to be Witcher 3. I was like, but
so what's your favorite genre game to play? Like, do you like, I guess, I don't know. I'm not a gaming person, so I don't know how to ask that question, but some people like stories. Some people like fighting or shooting games. Some people like, I don't know if I'm asking it right.
Horror genre.
I actually like role-playing adventure games the most. I do love horror games too. But for me, when I play a video game, it has to be a good mix of story and gameplay. It can't just be story and it can't just be gameplay. I take that back. Occasionally, it can just be gameplay if the gameplay is like really, really good. But there has to be some... I like the story element in my game, but I really love it most when they both come together. Like recently, Kena Bridge of Spirits was a really fun game.
I had a blast, but I got that on sale during Black Friday, and somebody recommended it. I was like, okay. They said it's kind of like Zelda. It's kind of like whatever. I was like,
more of a Souls game. Honestly.
I was gonna say like that's what it reminded, but it wasn't easy. But
there were a couple parts where I got my ass kicked.
It took me a long time to beat a few bosses, and it was frustrating.
Oh my god!
Yeah, but it's a beautiful game. And I thought the story was okay. It was solid enough.
Cute. I liked the little suit guys. Or
little what are they called? The little God, I can't think of the little dark. Yeah, but they were adorable and
they were cute, super cute.
The world. Well, if I remember correctly, the people who made it, developed it, they were like an animation. They'd make movies or something like animated movies as well. I forgot what the name of it is, but it was a fantastic game.
Well, I like they were games like part of Pixar. At one point.
It. Yeah, Pixar. So you could see it. It was beautiful.
Yeah, and it was an indie game to top it off. So it was a really, it was almost AAA quality indie game. It could have been longer. I could have used more of it.
It was very short.
But it was a good game.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing another replay of that game again down the road. And I wish there's no plans of DLC from what I understand or anything extra. But
I just hope they do a sequel.
Yes.
The other game I recently liked was Scorn. I loved that game.
Yeah.
The art in that game is amazing.
I've heard amazing things about that. Yeah, so ever since I got my laptop, I never was into the PC. Now I had Xbox Game Pass for a little bit. So I actually expanded on a lot of games. I think I played the one based off Fex's recommendation, the High on Life game. It was fun. It's not the greatest game in the world, but it was fun. And it's if you like Rick and Morty, which I'm hit and miss on, it was still a fun game. It was a lot of Doom in that game, like kind of similar gameplay, but it was funny, comical. And then obviously the newest ones with the what the hell's the newest game that came out? The Russian game that got all the controversy. Atomic Heart.
Atomic Heart. Yeah,
it's okay. It's good. Like it's opened me up to this thing. I actually like gaming on my laptop. I never thought I would, but I like having all these options. So is that what you strictly do? Is it a laptop, or do you have like an actual tower?
I have a laptop right now. Part of what I'm hoping to earn money for is to actually either buy or build my own computer. I need a tower.
You need one of those meta PCs.
I either want to get a meta PC or I want to build my own. Those are my options.
Not a bad.
And I might end up building my own just because I can get a little more out of it if I build it myself. And I've always wanted to build my own computer.
That'd be awesome.
So,
yeah.
What are you going to play on Rumble after this stream?
Probably go do some Valheim with my friend Darylyn, and I don't know if Sheep's going to join me tonight or not, but usually sometimes he does.
That's another game I want to get into that just came out on one of the platforms I have. I was like, oh, I want to do that too. So
probably like 400 or 500 hours into it.
Oof.
Oh my gosh.
That's just a testament to how good it is and how it's great.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no, I spend all my time building bases, and then we go kill some things, and we die a couple hundred times. Then I go build some more bases.
I actually never played. I haven't played Cuphead in a long time, so I don't really. It's hard. Yeah.
I want to. It's one of those ones. Cuphead, and I need to finish. What was that one? Not Shovel Knight. It's the other one.
I know what you're talking about.
And I did the same thing last time because I get it confused.
They're similar. Yeah, I can't think of it either. God,
but
there's a lot of.
I can't help you because I don't know nothing.
No, there's a few. I'm currently on my 18th playthrough of Super Mario World.
Hollow Knight. Thank you, honey.
Oh, Hollow Knight's a good game. Yeah, I have that for the Switch actually. So
yeah, that one's fun.
Screaming from up the stairs. I love it.
It worked.
No, yeah, no. So the gaming is fun. I like it. It's relaxing. Now that I have the Switch, I love the portability of just going to bed and I put my game on and ignore the world for a little bit. Well, shit, this has been a lot of fun.
Animal Crossing.
You know what? I never thought I would like a game like Animal Crossing. It's actually quite addictive.
Yeah,
and it's fun.
I've heard. I need to maybe that's something I could probably handle, right?
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy.
It's a relaxing. You got cute little animals. You get to build little things.
All right, Cannoli, hook me up with Animal Crossing.
Well, your birthday's tomorrow. We're gonna buy you Animal Crossing for your birthday for the Switch. There you go. Thank you, Har. You gave me a birthday.
You get for your birthday? Hearing aids and Animal Crossing.
That's what we're here for.
That would be a mister. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Oh my God. Well, shit, this has been fantastic. All right, thank you very much for coming on. We learned a lot about you today. It was actually a great conversation, which I love to have.
I love talking to you. Yep, I could talk to you all day, and I can't wait for you to read me stories.
Yeah, and I definitely would love to have you back on again someday, of course.
Yeah,
anytime. Just let me know.
This was awesome.
Maybe you could come on the female perspective on a Friday, and we could get into some good conversations. I'm doing that once a month, so I'll drop you a DM and we can talk about it. I'd love
drop those DMs.
I'm good. I'm good to show up wherever you want me. Just give me a date and time.
Love it. I will certainly do that.
What do you have? So what else do you have coming up? I know we probably promoted everything already, but go through it again. I love it. No, go ahead.
I've got my streaming on my locals. I'm going to be playing some video games there.
Awesome.
I've got, or not locals, Rumble. I would like to stream to locals, but they haven't figured out how to do RMTP yet, and I'm too lazy to figure out a virtual cable. So, until they get that figured out, I will be doing streaming on Rumble, which will be fun because we've held back on some of our conversations due to the peculiarities of Twitch. So come for some interesting conversation. I'm sure there will be a number of gamer words thrown around just because of the people I hang out with.
There you go.
And locals, stop by. I have a few short stories on there as well as the first chapter of my book. Second chapter will be coming after Mama Amorata reads the copy I sent to her after reviewing it. And
hurry up, Mama! I need to read the next one.
Screwed up.
Hurry up!
And Monday, I will be on with Starson. We will do our
Awesome.
HorrorAmorata Animal Hour, where
Awesome.
we talk about all things animals. If it flies, swims, or breathes, we will talk about it.
Perfect.
And then Wednesday, always midweek hump
Yep.
with
Yeah.
Shags, Sheep, and
I really
Evergreen
enjoyed that.
Rocks.
That was good.
Sorry I haven't checked it out before because it's
Fine.
kind of past my bedtime, but I stayed up
It's
late when
good.
Cannoli was on, and I really enjoyed it. It was fun. I
It was
couldn't make
good.
it over to
They're good.
Rumble because I
Yeah,
had
they're
to go
good
to
people
bed.
over
but
there. They're
Good
good people over
people.
there. It
Yep.
was a lot of
Yep.
fun. And
I liked it.
yeah, all of her links are in the description. So please check them all out. And I don't think Mrs. Cannoli, you don't have anything coming up until a couple of weeks from now for your own show, right?
That is correct. Wait, I'm going
Oh,
to
you get to be with me.
I get to be on MMM on Monday,
Ooh.
talking about the new John Wick 4 because we're going tomorrow, and we're going to give you a review full of spoilers on Monday, and then we'll be back next week for the Cannoli Connection. Cannoli, you have something on Wednesday, don't you, with Ego?
Yeah, well, yeah. So for MMM on Monday, Mr. Copa cannot be there because he has family obligations. So we're gonna have Left Eye Ego on with us, with Mrs. Cannoli Sasquatch and Vex, of course.
Vex and White Bear.
Wednesday, I do have a stream on Left Eye Ego's channel. We're gonna talk sports stuff, and we're gonna do with the upcoming baseball season. I'm a baseball nerd, so we'll talk about that. And then Friday, we'll be back here for the Cannoli Connection, and we'll let you know who the guest is going to be during the week. And then that's basically it. So I want to thank everybody in the chat. You guys were awesome. HorrorAmorata, again, thank you very much.
Thank you for
This was
having
a
me.
blast.
It's been a lot of fun.
Appreciate it.
And I will see you next week, and we'll see you later.
Yeah.